So, we're going to watch Brittany Simon covering Larix's video about the Minecraft allegations, the Katie Bugs and George Not Found situation. So, relating to all the Dream SMP and affiliated Minecraft Orbiters cancellations that came out just, God, what, like a month, 2 months ago now? Where Wilbur Soot, George Not Found, White Boy Swag was under attack that week. I've got to say, there was a bloodbath. But Larix released a video exonerating them, as he does. Big rape defender, big freshly 18 predator defender, Larix. So Brittany Simon's here to debunk it, to explain to us why Larix is a gay little incel who just doesn't understand how women feel. As a woman understander myself, I think I will have a great time with this video. So we're going to get into this.
Impacted, and that's Katie and George. And if they decide this doesn't matter and they're going to move on from it, the internet needs to move on. But the internet won't, because it's not about Katie and George. They're going to project themselves onto the situation, and they're going to bully both of these people into not fixing the situation because it feels better for their egos. And I know, you know what pisses me off the most is how many content creators have reviewed this and not even reviewed as many logs as we've reviewed. And there's still stuff I'm missing. But like literally, I will watch them do a live stream and they're like, oh, I haven't watched any of these videos on my own. I'm like, so they don't even know what George has said.
Problem?
They're just assuming.
Problem? Oh, fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Problem?
Like fighting for George on his behalf when they don't even listen to what he says.
I think that Katie deserves all the support that you
See? George and Dream both said, be nice to Katie.
It is a terrible situation. It is a terrible
Okay, and?
thing. The pain that she feels.
He sounds like a fucking second
See, they said be nice to Katie. Why aren't you being nice to Katie? Because I don't want to fucking be nice to Katie. Katie's a piece of shit.
grader who got in trouble in class. What is this?
That's what
It's a terrible thing. Pain is not good. Gold star.
Interesting. So the 20-year-old is not listening to any of the people involved and has decided he knows better than anyone that was involved. Ugh, people are so young. So the guy who wasn't involved is listening to 3 people who were directly.
You can listen to the details of a story and make your own judgment about it according to your own values. Just because they're saying one thing about their judgment of it doesn't mean you can't disagree with that and present your... Okay.
Involved in some capacity and is going, no, I know better than everybody involved. I don't even know what to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, we really don't want to listen to victims, do we? Whether they're men or women, huh?
Over the last year, we also saw one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform, Dream, get falsely accused of life-ruining allegations and nearly destroyed his career.
Life-ruining allegations, like, God, can I say something? And I want to say this with like the most respect. Men getting accused is hardly ever a consequence to their life.
Thank you for the $20 sugar logs. I am sensing that actually. Now that I am sensing that actually, very quickly sensing that. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Even if all the consequence is from a false allegation is some little hooer has told all their friends that you're a rapist and you miss out on like one date, that's too much consequence for a false allegation, frankly, or a bullshit allegation like Katie Bugs.
It will have consequences in society that actually holds you accountable. But generally speaking, men aren't held accountable. That's why we needed the whole Me Too movement, which of course is going to have issues because now we have to redefine what our essay is. There are little to zero consequences, depending on your culture and background, for you being accused of something. Keep in mind, Trump has been accused time and time again, and he's president of the United States, or was. Balto says, but if you're a regular guy who's falsely...
It depends on your position in society. Dude, you're talking about a guy who is from family money. His family had money before he was even born. His generational wealth, totally set. Goes into a business, is set in these fucking businesses, set up by his parents. In right-wing politics, hugely influential in pop culture. Yeah, no shit. He can get away with more. And he's been fucking sued. And he's been fucking sued over it and lost a bunch of money over it. This isn't an argument that men never face consequences. It's that rich people never face consequences. What?
Accused, your life can be ruined. Some men's lives will be ruined. False accusations, I think, are worse for the individual experiencing them because it feels like you're being gaslit. And I will say that is incredibly difficult. As somebody who's been like falsely accused or women have said things about me, I'm like, what are you talking about? Experiencing them because it feels like you're being gaslit. And I will say that is incredibly difficult. As
what? Okay, that's
somebody
okay.
who's
Fine.
been like
We're not gonna get. I won't get autistic about the gaslighting thing. That's
accused
fine.
or women have said things about me, I'm like, what are you talking about? It feels horrible. It feels like you're being gaslit. It feels like the worst thing ever. You're like, I didn't do that. But people will say,
I think it was just bubbles. I think they were just in a different bubble, Brittany. I think they were just in a different bubble to you, Brittany. Human's gonna human. Human's gonna human, Brittany. I think you should just let them say it.
Things about you that aren't true. And I think that is incredibly difficult. I think that can be life ending because you don't know how to, your mental health is just shattered, right? So I think that is what's horrible. But ultimately, we live in a world where generally speaking, you'll be fine. But on occasion, bad things happen to good people or bad things happen to bad people. I just feel like it's a little, I feel like it's too biased to pretend like the president of the United States doesn't have accusations against him for actual rape. And he got to the White House.
He was guilty until proven innocent.
And it's just so retarded. Oh, man. Well, don't you know that this super rich, super powerful guy who comes from generational wealth and has been set up in businesses, in institutions, pre-established institutions since he was incredibly young, with a bunch of power, a bunch of protection around him, a bunch of fucking lawyers. Don't you know this guy never faced consequences? That means no men ever face consequences of false allegations. I found this one example. I found this one hyper extreme example. Literally the very edge. This guy. Think of all the shit Trump's gotten away with. Like, I'm not even a fucking one of these like resistance lib types. Think of all the shit Trump's gotten away with. I'd say he's probably gotten away with worse than rape, you know? We'd probably prefer, a lot of people prefer he just raped one woman compared to some of the shit. It's just such a terrible come up with a more middle ground example.
The reason he barely made it out was due to his last-minute response, where he was able to point out inconsistencies and showed evidence that was undeniable in order to vindicate himself. It was a humbling experience for thousands of people.
The most powerful man in the world to a Minecraft YouTuber, yeah.
Labeled him guilty without even hearing out his side first. But
to be fair, everybody does that for everybody. Most humans do this. This is why it's so dangerous to make sure you're not just supporting someone blindly, to make sure that you are considering, could somebody you like be the bad person, or could there have been a miscommunication? I still think I had the most based view. I'm going to be real.
Yeah, you think? Okay. All right, let's see. George Unfound and Kate. Wait, okay. Okay, George Unfound Katie Boggs respond again, and it's not looking good. Katie Boggs makes a final statement about, okay, this tells me nothing.
And I agreed mostly with George, that Katie can still perceive this as a bad situation, and still he didn't intend to essay her.
Her last message to me was August 1st, 2023, and I haven't replied to her since then. After I watched her stream, I was pretty confused. I didn't understand how her account of the story had been so different from what actually happened. A lot of the facts that she said just didn't happen at all, or were phrased in ways that just make me look as bad as possible. Saying things like, I insisted on her playing drinking games, or that she was frozen in place, or that she was scared. She was having fun. She was enjoying herself. She was showing this with her body language, with the way that she smiled, the way that she...
Dude, I can predict it already, okay? I'm going to lay it out immediately before she even says it. Here's Brittany's take, 100%. It's all bubbles. It's all just different social contexts clashing within their bubble, within their social context. Within Katie's bubble, Katie's social context, her understanding of the world, this was rape, and she wasn't giving consent by cuddling George for 3 hours before, or whatever the fuck it was, for an hour before he made the little move on her. That, you know, she genuinely didn't see that as consent, so she wasn't giving consent. So it was SA in her bubble. That's what it is, guaranteed.
She laughed, and just her overall general demeanor. Now, one thing that I think is very important to
I've called it already.
differentiate
I know it
here
already.
is that I do believe that she
Brittany, I've seen
regrets
into your
being
mind.
affectionate with me, and that really does make me feel terrible. I never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable or regret their interactions with me or anything along those lines.
Yes, yes. This is Brittany's entire worldview, Vicky. This is Brittany's entire worldview. The argument is everyone has their way of thinking and nobody is actually wrong. Everyone's just in different bubbles. There's no standard that we all have to adhere to. As long as you're in, you just have to learn to work between bubbles and learn to work with other people and communicate clearly. That's literally everything, all the time.
Regardless of if it's sexual or not. And I am truly really sorry if I contributed towards that.
You see how two things can exist at once?
His best friend, George Not Found, got accused of sexual assault, but thankfully, this time around, things were different, and no one made any of the same mistakes as they did last time.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're a serious criminal.
What the living fuck are you thinking in that moment? You gotta be out of your fucking living mind, drunk or not.
This isn't a Twitter thing, this is real life, this is someone's life. It is a crime! It is a bad thing!
They're so young. They're so young. And you're so fucking old. What are you doing? They're kids. They're teenagers. I don't think we should allow a
Dude, I fucking hate Minecraft YouTubers.
opportunity when we're dealing
Holy
with
fuck.
teenagers and children.
Oh. Oh. Is this a retelling of the story?
Yeah, welcome to commentary videos, Brittany. Okay.
Guys, please like
Fine,
this
that's
stream,
fine.
yo.
Guys, please open your wallets, open your hearts. There's 144 of you here right now. Only 23 likes though. If you could maybe, please stop freeloading, like, subscribe, donate, buy membership, gift membership, buy super chat if you can. Thank you very much.
But what if he didn't essay her? I don't think he did. I don't think George did essay her. I don't think that changes how she perceived the situation. But I also, I don't think he essayed her. Well, the problem is, okay, by definition, he essayed her according to lots of colleges and their rules. From the definition of definitely certain cultural bubbles, it is essay. So by definition, essay is, well, it depends on who, see, the problem is, guys, it depends on who's defining it. Do you understand that this is a
Here we go. Here we go. The bubbles, in certain bubbles, that is rape. In certain bubbles. Okay, here we go. This is going to be nightmarish. This is going, because you cannot, there is no way to argue with this because it is just the most vapid nothingness ever. It is just pure, absolute, just, there is no right and wrong. There is no consistent standard in society. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to agree on anything, sorry. We can literally just all retreat into tiny little groups where we have our own definitions of everything and never have to grapple with reality. It's like, I don't know, is it almost feels like it's her whole thing, all of it feels so culty. It all just seems set up to try and get a group of people around her who are all giving her money and think she's like the fucking messiah. Because, well, I'm just in my bubble. Everyone in my bubble knows that what I say goes. Come and have my sex coaching service for an hour, for $300 an hour on Discord. What level are you? You're a level 1. Kill yourself.
society issue. I'm trying to get you to understand essay is not an objective thing, but essay as a concept is a construct human beings created through culture to say, hey, this action here, we're going to call that essay. So according to certain bubbles, it is by definition essay. According to other bubbles, it is by definition not essay.
Do you not know all the lore about Brittany Simon? I guess I should do this. There's going to be commentary people that haven't had to interface with Brittany Simon before. So basically, Brittany Simon is a very old. Okay, Max, thank you for the $1.99. Very old. I don't want to say very old. I'm not calling her old. Her channel's been around a long time. She's an old head YouTuber. She's always done sort of like culture war, self-help, BDSM content. That's all I can describe it as. And over the course of years, she has transitioned from being a bread tuber to being like a sex YouTuber and all this shit. But her business model isn't just that she's a YouTuber. At some point in her career, she divined or ripped off or created. She started in the YouTube atheist space initially. Oh, sorry, and skeptic YouTube. I thought she was one of the bread tubers around that time. Anyway, whatever. She made this level system. She made up this level system. Some people say she ripped it off. I don't know. And it has levels 1 through 5. Level 1 means you're incapable of introspection and should kill yourself. That's what she says it means. Level 5 is like the ultimate. You just get it. You just get it. You just get everything. You're just so aware. And everyone has a level. And that's like the base model for her whole worldview. And then she has like a Patreon. And as part of this Patreon, you can pay £212 per month for a 1-hour call. And that is a self-help session where you can talk to her about your problems, about your life, about your sex. It's sold out, yep. I don't know how many spaces are on that. There's 238 paid members, though, total. And it's all just a little bit weird. It's all just a little bit weird. I don't like it. I do not like it. Not a big fan at all. The idea of, like, you know, it's already a little bit weird. I find it a bit weird, or I would find it a bit weird to be in a call. Like JSOC's Euler calls, like having people pay to come hang out in the VC is just, it would feel a bit odd. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but it would feel a bit odd. But the idea that you're doing, like, basically mock therapy sessions with your fans for $300 a month just seems crazy to me. And especially when you've got this whole system set up where it's like, if you're a certain tier of person, you're basically not worthy of life. That's just, it's just such a horrible setup. It's just so gross.
So whether or not George essayed her from Brittany's perspective is whether or not he intended to do it. So if he in his head was like, I'm gonna essay Katie, that is essay. If he literally was like, oh, I think she's into me and I'm into her, I'm gonna make a move, I don't consider that essay. I consider that a deep misunderstanding. So it depends on who you're asking, because none of this is objective. You know, I really don't like this whole black and white thinking. Once again, I don't want to encourage that. This black and white thinking of like, it is always this thing. This thing is a construct. We made it up.
George Not Found is a 10 million subscriber Minecraft YouTuber who recently has had allegations come out against him that he assaulted another creator named Katie Bugs. But here's the catch.
You guys like the stream. He said, I'm screwed. Demonetized.
It's a complete false allegation coming from a manipulative, malicious liar who just
We have no evidence that she's manipulative, malicious, or a liar, but it's interesting that everyone runs with that. So that means she intended it. That means she planned it. We're assuming she did that.
Based
Does anyone
lyrics?
have any actual evidence that she did that? Insinuating Katie was malicious is insinuating that George maliciously essayed her. You must know this, yes?
How? Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Brittany. Let's hear it, Brittany. I bet this is going to be a brain. This is going to be a fucking brain blast. I can tell.
You cannot read Katie's mind. So if you assume Katie did it on purpose with no evidence and you're stating it like it's a fact.
It's not. No. 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 It's not with no evidence. It's with no proof. There is circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence. You can build an argument. You can make an argument. You can say this disqualifies this motivation. This disqualifies this motivation. You can do things like that, and you can slowly work it out. You can build the argument, but you can't prove it. Absolutely, you cannot prove it.
Which it's not, because you don't know that. It's like stating for a fact that George meant to.
Yeah, it's conflating no evidence with no proof. Right? There is not concrete proof. There is not Katie saying, I did this maliciously. There are pieces of evidence, but there is not proof.
Assault her. But we know that George didn't mean to do that. And in the same way, George said, I don't think Katie realized the situation because that wasn't my intention. And I think she really thinks that's what's happened.
Again, this all happened within a 4-hour period, 3-4 hour period. And I was not given any sign of discomfort, unhappiness, or anything along those lines. And again, it was the opposite of that. She was happy, she was laughing, she was smiling, and as far as I know, everyone else in the room would have thought the same at the time. So now what I'm thinking is, why would she come out and say it like this? Why is she saying this? Now, I don't think she's purposefully being malicious or trying to hurt me or ruin my career or anything like that. But what I do think is that
Well, if George said she's not being malicious, then we all have to believe George then, right? We all have to believe exactly what George is saying. George is like, I mean, he has the final say on what Katie's state of mind is. So there's absolutely no piece of evidence or no case you can build, no argument you can make. Like, I don't even know if I would. Would I go as far as say Katie was definitely malicious? No, I think you can't. No, I think you can say that, but she definitely, like, if you're in a friend group that has a history of hating another friend group and a business interest in taking that friend group down, and then one friend group starts launching a bunch of allegations at the other friend group, that's a lot of circumstance. That's stuff's pointing in a certain direction, and you can definitely say, hey, listen, stuff's pointing in a certain direction here. That looks a bit fucking weird, doesn't it?
She is surrounded by a friend group that completely despises me and my friend.
He's saying it now. I'm spitting.
This is quite a specific scenario that probably doesn't
White
really
Boy Swag,
that
just
much, especially publicly.
Real recognize
so
real.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to talk about it. But I think after VidCon, she obviously had told some of her friends about what happened. Whether or not that was in a negative connotation, I do not know. I wasn't part of these conversations, of course. But she clearly told them about this scenario. Now, when these people that are around you all completely despise me and my friends, they're obviously going to look on this poorly. To add context to this,
when does Katie's OnlyFans drop? I can't believe you would say that about an 18-year-old girl. You're fucking a 19-year-old girl. You're fucking disgusting, dude. That's fucking gross. Come out of my chat, you fucking pedophile.
She actually mentions in her stream, here, I will just quote it. She says, I remember a friend seeing me in the lobby on the way, and they were worried by the way I was acting and asked if I was okay. I was really drunk, and
a raped 19-year-old, really?
Now this
really,
person
Pez is God,
really? And they were concerned that a group of 5 people were going up to Dream's room to join 3 additional people, which is an interesting concern to have. I actually have heard from another source that overheard this conversation and thought it was quite strange that she was worried about this. Now, I think it seems very likely that after 8 months of you being around friends that hate me and my friends and constantly talking badly about us publicly as well and privately, I don't know what they say privately, but can't be any better than what they say publicly. Obviously, that is going to affect the way that you view the experience. And it's going to make you look at it differently. You're going to second guess it. You're going to be thinking about it. And clearly, it changed the way that she thought about it. And I just think it's completely unfair to judge me and my actions based on how you feel about it now, 8 months later, versus how you felt at the time. Because at the time, you were not uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? Is that even if, because like this is like the middle road presentation, right? This is the one that, listen, I understand you've reinterpreted it, but even if it was the case that there was some serious evidence pointing in the direction of Katie Bugs maliciously, or not even serious evidence, because there is evidence pointing in that direction, but even if there was proof of Katie Bugs doing it maliciously, I don't think George could even say it on this video. I think still the best play for him, PR-wise, is to accept, listen, I understand you feel that way. This is my side. That is literally just the only thing he can do here. And anyone who's not retarded can identify that. So showing George say this means literally nothing.
And I know I'm repeating myself a million times, but I have to. You were smiling, happy, laughing, playing along with it. Everything. And that's all I really have to say on the matter. Still keep supporting victims.
That we can't read her mind, nor can we read George's. But we can use our own evidence to have our own opinions. You're allowed to have the opinion that you think.
So what was the point of any of that? So what was the point of any of that? So what was the point, Brittany? Because you've just done all that just so you can say, well, but you're able to have your own opinion based on the evidence. What do you think? Why do you think Larix has made this video, Brittany? What do you think this video is? What do you think you're watching right now, Brittany? This is a video where Larix is giving his opinion based on the evidence as he sees it.
She's this way. As long as you know that you don't know that, right?
Wants this guy's career destroyed.
She didn't fake a screenshot. Brennan said she faked a screenshot. She didn't fake a screenshot.
She misattributed a screenshot.
She corrected herself and it was accepted. George also miscommunicated in a way that was interpreted by the audience. He corrected himself. Katie sent the wrong text message. She corrected herself.
There's a lot. There is something I'm fully owning up.
She didn't send the wrong text message. There was only one text message. She misattributed it. She put the wrong name on it. Brittany, trying to lecture people, doesn't even know what the fucking details are.
And clearing up right now. The screenshot. My recent response on Twitter, this is the only kind of like response thing I'm gonna give. I will acknowledge that was a complete miscommunication. There's a screenshot I said was from his friend that wasn't there for the assault, mentioned our ages and acknowledged, the situation was weird. It's a real screenshot. What I got wrong and what was miscommunicated was who it was from. It was actually from, instead of the guy who left or wasn't there for the assault, it was from the girl who wasn't there for the assault. Which I acknowledge is frustrating that I got that wrong, and I didn't realize I got it wrong until after I posted it a long time after. And obviously when I don't come out and say, oh, I got that wrong, when he's the one to come out and say she got that wrong, it makes that into the biggest deal. I got a message from the girl that actually sent the text and was like, it was a while after I already posted my response, and was like, you kind of mixed up who the text was from, but I'm sure it won't be a big deal because it was only one of the minor things you said, and everything else you said in that response was way more important.
Yeah, you only misattributed a screenshot. I'm sure it won't be a big deal. Okay.
Which obviously we've seen that was not the case, but I do acknowledge and own up to the fact I completely was wrong about that. But again, I'm saying, even though it wasn't from his friend, it was yet another person in the hotel room that acknowledged the weirdness. Yes, it wasn't from that guy in the hotel room. It was from the girl in the hotel room. Like, I still think the screenshot, it's not a fake screenshot as well. It's a real screenshot. I still think it adds to the fact of, people acknowledged it.
So again, she didn't make up a screenshot. It was a total miscommunication. We have no proof.
Yeah. So she says that the mistake happened, but constantly downplays it. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't change. In fact, it was the girl who said it. It wasn't the guy who said it. It was the girl who said it. She emphasizes it as though it makes it like a bigger deal. It just comes off incredibly, incredibly snaky. The downplaying of the mistake, the trying to reframe it into actually being a stronger point than it was before. They're constantly hammering home, there's still other people who are uncomfortable, as if that changes anything.
Right? That she technically made up the screenshot.
And it actually worked. His best friends have turned on him. He's lost brand deals.
If his best friends turned on him, then again, there's this. Okay, let's go back to, oh, this is good. Let's go to blind loyalty. So obviously, if someone came to me and said, hey, your friend essayed somebody, I'd go up to my friend and be like, hey, bro, tell me what happened. Go ahead. And I'd be like, bro, this was literally my intention. This is what happened. I'd be like, that sounds like a huge miscommunication. Let's see if we can talk it out. Then we could talk it out and say, like, is this a part of your character? Was this your intention? What was the situation? And then we could go from there. But obviously, depending on your investment in a person, you might just want to move yourself away from somebody. There's a line everyone's willing to cross. For some people, like Andrew Huberman, he's willing to lie and manipulate 6 grown women, including one woman he was doing IVF treatments with. That's a huge malicious... See,
wait.
One
Is
woman
this
he was
that?
doing IVF...
Is that the guy that she was bitching about, comparing Destiny to or whatever? That guy's fucking huge. What a unit.
Huberman, he's willing to lie and manipulate 6 grown women, including one woman he was doing IVF treatments with. That's a huge malicious... See how Andrew Huberman literally targeted women, juggled all these women, and then people don't care? People don't care that Andrew Huberman did any of these things to these women. And I'm saying we should care, but we should also have the right amount of reaction to the situation. So George touched a breast at most. If this was intentional, oops, then that's like a big icky. But if it was a mistake and a misreading of the situation, how horrible is it that we're accusing him of being like a quote criminal or whatever. So again, it feels a little bit disingenuous for people to say, oh, his best friends moved away from him. Well, how close of friendship could they have had? Like, your best friend's not going to move away from you. Your best friend's going to check in with you and see if it's true. But your shitty friends are going to move away from you because, like, they're willing to, like, trade your relationship for an easier, like, relationship with their jobs or their friends. Or maybe their values say, I don't want to be with anyone or be friends with anyone who gets drunk and touches anyone's boobs. Maybe that's a part of their value system. I don't like the narrative of, like, George lost his best friends. Well, I mean, maybe it was time for them to go. And then in terms of the brand deal, that had to happen. That just, from a brand perspective, sorry, George. You shouldn't have gotten drunk with anyone under 21 if you cared about brand deals.
Okay. That's so retarded. That's so retarded. Maybe it's just because I'm from the UK. But to me, that's just so retarded. That's so dumb. You should lose brand deals for getting drunk with someone under 21. You have to... If you're at a party, you have to make sure that whoever runs the party is not only checking for 18-year-olds, but 21-year-olds. You have to make sure they are IDing for 21-year-olds. Okay, please, I'm good.
Maybe it was time for them to go. And then in terms of the brand deal, that had to happen. That just, from a brand perspective, sorry, George. You shouldn't have gotten drunk with anyone under 21 if you cared about...
Yeah, they came in drunk, came in drinking. You're not playing bouncer at your VidCon hotel room at 3 in the morning. It ain't happening. Sorry, 18-year-old girl, please leave. Nope.
Brand deals, in my opinion.
Hundreds of thousands of followers, and his reputation will now forever be fucked. All over this woman.
They will not forever be fucked. You're so dramatic. That is just not true.
Twisting, manipulating, and in some cases just outright lying about the guy to fool the internet that he assaulted her.
My story is about power and age and consent.
Claims when she was freshly 18, George, being a much older man, took advantage of her when she was vulnerable and drunk by inviting her to his hotel room and insisting on her to drink alcohol while playing drinking games.
Also, the fact that I said I was freshly 18.
Well, yeah, exactly right. Katie cuddling, she says that she didn't give consent, but literally cuddling with someone for an hour, you are, whenever you engage in like a sort of like physical or sexual act with someone, you're consenting to sort of like a reasonable bounds of escalation unless you start revoking, right? So if you're cuddling for an hour and then a guy starts filling you up, you've kind of consented to that bit unless you turn around and go no. because that's the next step. That's where it moves to next. You're not going to constantly sit there and go, are you okay if I move my hand 5 centimeters to the left? Are you okay if I move my right hand 10 centimeters up? It's not happening. That's not how anyone operates.
Which is something a lot of people are mad about, when in reality, I was 18 and 5 months old. My bad. What I meant to say in that original stream where I said I was freshly 18, I said I was freshly 18 and just out of high school. What I meant to say was I was 18 and freshly out of high school. I just put it in front of the wrong thing, and I do acknowledge that, but once again, I feel like the idea is still the same, whether it's freshly 18 or freshly out of high school, because I had just graduated a few weeks earlier. The idea is still there. It's still there. And these are the things, I'm sorry, I do get frustrated with that because people are mad at me saying that I'm a liar because of these things, instead of acknowledging the fact that he fucking admitted.
Look, to be fair, I think what Destiny doesn't... What Destiny says he does is he does the whole, if I'm going to have sex with a woman, she knows 5 business days in advance that we're having sex whether she likes it or not. He does that. He's like, listen, just so you're clear, just so you know, we're meeting up and we're going to have sex. And he talks to them about fetishes or some shit beforehand. And I assume, but I think from what he said, it's more of a, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? While in the act. It's not a, is it okay if I move my hand here? I don't think that's what he describes, to be fair. Diori made a good point. There are no misspeaks when you write the script, go over with friends, think about it for 6 months, and don't correct until weeks later. Yeah, that's facts.
To doing what he did to me. Like, and we're worried about the fact that I said I was freshly 18 when I meant to say I was freshly out of high school. It's just... I'm... Again, and I shouldn't be getting frustrated, but...
Hey,
it's just upsetting
we all love
seeing
you.
him admit to it.
He disguised it with a simple, are you ticklish? I coughed out a no, and still staring at my phone, I was overly aware of the fact that we were in front of other people. The fact that everyone else was sitting around us, watching us, including my best friend, and that his hand was inching further to places I hadn't asked it to be. Again, as I mentioned before, we had previously been cuddling on this couch for around an hour, but I did place my hand on her waist under her shirt. The way it's phrased makes it sound like it just happened out of nowhere, when in reality we'd been cuddling for over an hour at this point, and it was not out of nowhere. It was also around half an hour until I started moving my hand further up, and the way it's phrased just makes it seem like it happened pretty instantly and pretty quickly. There was nothing quick about it, it was very slow, and I was very cautious about it and making sure that she was comfortable throughout the process. Me and Katie were very touchy, very cuddly, and very slowly got more intimate. I've always been overly cautious with consent, and this is not just because I'm a creator. I've been like this since before I was a creator, and I think that's just the way I am and just the way it should be. Nothing came out of nowhere. Everything progressed very slowly throughout the night. And also, before I continue, I want to make it clear that the furthest anything ever got was under the shirt touching and cuddling. Now, obviously, people don't typically ask if everything is okay, even such as touching someone's waist under their shirt before they do it. But in this case, I was extremely slow, and she was engaging with me the entire time, laughing, cuddling with me, and even playfully fighting me for the game that we were playing. Again, the quote that she said, he disguised it with a simple, are you ticklish? I coughed out a no. She's implying that it's with malicious intent, and that she coughed out a no would also imply that I should be able to tell that she was uncomfortable with it. She says, later, he made a game out of my embarrassment where he would touch me in certain areas to make me lose the game I was playing. Now, I actually remember this quite vividly. I remember she was playing the game, and there were parts where it would be very easy to lose if you were distracted. And she's right, I did do that.
Okay, just these extended segments of just the I remember roughly what was said. Yeah,
where she was playing the game.
Just play Larry's
video.
video.
At a point where it was easy for her to mess up, and I would, for example, tickle her or like squeeze her, and when I did this, she would laugh, she would turn around and smile at me, or she would play fight with me because I had just made her lose the game. She also says how, quote, I didn't speak or move. I remember being afraid to even breathe. I stayed there for a while, hoping my stillness would
Lyrics,
make me
DMCA
disappear.
her now. Lyrics, DMCA this bitch now.
Now, to reiterate, anytime that I did this, it was met with her either smiling, laughing, play fighting with me, and there was no reason for me to believe that she was uncomfortable with it. She was not moving. She was not speaking. Of course, I don't believe that silence is consent. I just want to make sure that it
Okay,
is
I'm speeding
abundantly
through
clear.
these
She was
segments. I
visibly
can't
and
handle
physically
this.
responding well to everything that we were doing.
Now, Katie does this as a mistake, right? She
Okay, there we. Oh my god, we were just about to. Lyrics, take the shot. Lyrics, take the shot.
put a lot on George, making the as like again mind reading him, and I think that's the mistake here. Lots of people we're all just mind reading, you know what I mean? And I think that's probably the mistake.
Where then, he went on to touch her underneath her shirt out of completely nowhere.
I was drunk in a hotel room with other people around me when it happened. Out of nowhere, I felt him slip his hand under my clothes, sitting next to me on the couch in front of everyone, and that his hand was inching further to places I hadn't asked for it to be. I was scared.
And it did happen, by the way. George admitted it happened. So we're not arguing that he touched her. We're arguing whether or not there was a miscommunication or he maliciously did it knowing she didn't want it. So she thinks he did it knowing, like, without asking her, which is true. He didn't ask her. He just did it. So that's a fact. And under lots of definitions, that's sexual assault. But where a lot of us come from is like, oh, that's not what sexual assault is. Sexual assault is like a malicious intent, which she's assuming he had.
No, it's not even about. Wait, it's not even about malicious intent. What?
Because I think probably influence from the people around her, maybe, which I would argue is probably the deviation in knowledge. You don't know that he had malicious intent, and assuming that is wrong. But
No,
also, George
that's
did
literally
touch
not the
her
argument.
without verbal consent. So again, if you want to live in a culture where you need verbal consent every time, cool. I love that. Then you have to make sure that everyone
See,
you're
what
with
did I say?
agrees to
What
that
did I
cultural
say?
expectation.
What did I
Because
say?
otherwise, there's going to be miscommunication. Think of it like a language barrier, or just like, oh, I assumed we're all Muslim, so we don't.
It's just like it's the most vapid engagement with anything ever. It's like I don't believe in any standards. I don't believe in any best way. I've got no real conviction in anything. Just everyone decide your own things. It's so gay, so gay.
We eat pork here, and then someone brings fucking Chipotle pork to the barbecue. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have to think about this in that way. For me, for Brittany, I never needed always verbal consent. It's really great. I really love it. I prefer it over not having it, but I also don't always need it depending on the culture or situation I'm in. Depending on the bubble I'm in, I do not expect verbal consent because it just seems weird to ask for it when they don't expect that. They usually move off vibes. That's usually how it is. So Brittany, I'm traveled, guys. I've been places. I know it's not the same everywhere. But for some people, they think it should always be the same everywhere. And I just think you should, keep that in mind.
But even before George's
Well, listen, rape is on a spectrum. What? There are worse rapes and better rapes. No?
response, there were many things off about this initial stream. First, that Katie was apparently freshly 18 and on the market when George prayed.
I think you're freshly 18 until you're 19. Brittany's opinion, you can disagree. You can be pissed about it in the comments. But I think you are freshly 18 until you're 19. And I think you are unfuckable until you're over the age of 21. If the person is like 5 to 6 years older than you, I think, I have a lot of strict rules about ages, but I also think it's different depending on the individual. So I have a general rule, but then I'll make exceptions. But I have a general rule. Personally, I think you are freshly 18 until you are 19.
On her.
I was freshly 18 and had just graduated high school.
Maverick says, isn't also the issue if he had asked, wouldn't she have said yes? She would have said no. She's asexual and doesn't engage in sexual activity. She said she felt pressured to not move. She wouldn't have felt equally pressured to say yes. She could have felt pressured to say yes, but in her mind, she thinks she might have said no, but who knows? Like, ultimately, that's why, look, I have gotten verbal consent from men. I have gotten verbal consent from women. Those same people, if they feel any kind of shame, any kind of guilt, grown-ups will be like, yeah, I kind of did feel like a weird way about Brittany. Oh, yeah, I did kind of feel weird about that. It's like, why didn't you say something? Because sometimes even grown-ups are embarrassed, or grown-ups are having issues, and that is trauma, that's culture, that's shame, that's miscommunication. And I'm just saying, as somebody who's well-lived, as somebody who's had a lot of miscommunication in life, or at least it feels that way, neurodivergency plays a role. Culture plays a role. Expectation of behavior. Oh, I expected this to be okay because here I am. I even have rules in place that, like, I'm married, and if my friends hit on me, knowing I'm married, I would end that friendship. That's like a rule I have.
All right.
Because some people be out here being, sleeping with married women, married men.
Why don't you
So I try to make it clear to people, like, if you...
Can you guys not just try and understand Katie's bubble a bit? Do you guys just not realize that Katie's bubble is just different to yours? Can you just have some empathy, guys? Come on, humans can human, all right? Come on now, guys. Guys, come on. Humans can human.
Actually hit on me while I'm married, like, we're never talking again. But for some people, they don't expect that to be weird. For some people, hitting on a married person is part of the thrill, right? Like, I don't know how to tell you guys this, but the world is not a very consensual place. And if you want it to be more consensual, you have got to start communicating your boundaries, which is where Katie made an issue.
It's not a very consensual place.
Or had a fault, is she said that she felt like this is the price she had to pay to be a part of the group. Well, you shouldn't have paid it. And the dilemma is that sounds like victim blaming.
Dude, you know what that immediately reminds me of? Fuck. Where's the clip? Have I got the clip? Not on my streamable, I don't. Not on my streamable. I'm gonna get it quickly. It's gonna be so quick.
Women don't like me. Nobody likes me. I'm a complete loner, completely eccentric, sort of prickly, unlikable, autistic hermit, and that's just the way I am. So I was born a loner, and that was involuntary. I didn't choose to be born, so that was involuntary. So I'm an incel. Women
to people, where people are like, why are you blaming people for, like, doing things with Weinstein if you offered them a movie role? I'm not blaming you for feeling in danger of your life. I'm blaming you for allowing a man to take advantage of you for a movie role. Because he did take advantage of them, and some of them are grape. But a lot of them were people who were willing to do whatever it took to get the movie role. And I think that's a values issue, right? Not saying Harvey Weinstein wasn't a predator. He was a predator. A predator is somebody who uses something against you because they know you'll say yes to this because you want it so badly. Just because the women said yes didn't make Harvey Weinstein less of a predator. You know this, right? Just because women were willing to sleep with him against their values does not mean Harvey Weinstein was not a predator. A predator can put you in a position where you're willing to compromise your values. That doesn't make the predator's actions separate from, or doesn't make the predator's actions less predatory. Guys, what the predator does and what you do are two different things. You move off of each other, but these are two different things. He is
This is epic. Okay, this is some amazing analysis. She is actually because it's like half giving the listen, your body, your choice. Not well, that's not what they would say, but yeah, it's half giving the look. If a woman wants to sleep with a man for a job, then that's her choice. While also still saying the guy's an evil piece of shit. So she's literally making nobody happy with this take. This is a very, very toxic to both sides, I feel. Okay.
responsible for the pressure he put on these women and the way he was a predator and targeted them. And these women are...
I'm just surprised there's not more comments talking about the Harvey Weinstein stuff. Okay. I don't know the details of every Harvey Weinstein rape. I'm trying to think. He definitely... I mean, he had one... There was a violent rape, wasn't there? There was at least one violent rape. But was the rest of it just like, yo, if you want this movie role? It just seems like an odd example to go with to make the point of some people will compromise on their values to get into a better position.
Responsible for not walking out of that room when they could have. That doesn't mean he's less of a predator, right? These are not mutually exclusive. These things overlap. Okay?
Few weeks prior.
Sorry, just like in this situation, just because George didn't intend to essay Katie doesn't mean Katie wasn't essayed. Katie can be essayed by just a definition, and George could not have intended that, which is why I personally don't think we should be freaking out because we've changed definitions to assume, like, in some ways we have to ask ourselves, if you essay someone, is that what's bad, or is it the fact?
Didn't Harvey Weinstein use like coercive, like, threat, right? Is that not true? It wasn't just physical violence, but he also would threaten blacklisting, right? So it's not just that you're being offered. It's not just that, hey, suck my dick and I'll give you this movie role. It's, hey, suck my dick, you'll get this movie role. And if you say no, you're not going to get another fucking job. So yeah, making this analysis of that situation is so retarded for Britney to do, because that is not just compromising on your values for a perceived benefit. That is being threatened into a particular course of action. This is just so retarded. What a stupid analysis. I knew she was going to bring up the Harvey Weinstein thing because I saw Dan's breakdown of it, so I should have looked up the cases, really. But yeah, now I'm thinking about it, like, because you could make that analysis if it was just, hey, I'll give you this job for sucking my dick. Then you can make you're compromising on your values for a benefit analysis. But that doesn't work if there's fucking threats and violence.
The fact that you intended to essay them, because again, intention to me is what matters. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So again, okay, I just feel like we're not being very honest about the conversation because it's uncomfortable.
I don't know what metric she used here to determine the freshness date on her fucking body, but she turned 18 on her birthday, January 2nd, and last year's VidCon was June 21st. That's your 6 month in. You know, a couple weeks into being 18, if you still want to give yourself the freshness label, date, whatever.
See, he would disagree with my label. I think you're freshly 18 till you're 19. And many of you would disagree with that. But see how we're all different? The world doesn't revolve around you. There is not an objective to this.
Sure. A month, you're pushing it. But 6? 6?
I was freshly 18.
Also, there's a...
I mean, just because there's not an objective to this doesn't mean that you can't make a video clearly laying out your standard on the way you think things should be, right? If Lyrics makes a convincing argument and people go along with it, then he's won. No, that's...
This weird focus on George being this much older, bigger, and much more influential person to try to paint him out to be Harvey Weinstein or something.
I was assaulted by a significantly old...
Yeah, I think this was a mistake on Katie's part, and I do think this probably came from the influence of her friends to paint George like a methodical, malicious predator. We have no evidence of that. We have no reason to believe that. Now, I do think men look at... Okay, here's a question. Ooh, great question. Is Fresh, Walter, is he a predator? Are fuckboys predators? These are different categories. A Weinstein?
I thought he had sex with prostitutes.
A person who's in positions of power, Dan Schneider. These are different kinds of power dynamics that are obviously predatory, and they know it. So those are different categories of people. Then there's the category of person who's like a fuckboy, who's told like you need to lie to women and use women and convince them to sleep with you, and that's how you have Riz. That's what game is.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced that Fresh does any of that.
So is Walter a predator, or is he a liar and a fuckboy?
I don't think Fresh has the... I don't believe Walter, Black Shrek, has the mental capacity to lie to women. I don't think he's capable of that.
Right? Is George a little autist who like didn't know better, or is he a methodical thinker who's like planning this out? So that's what you have to think about. Now, I think you can be targeted. I think fuckboys can be predators or scammers to an extent. Like, I think if you're willing to lie to a girl in order to get her into bed, you are some variation of scammer. Same with women who are willing to lie to men to get them into bed. But see, I'm anti-lying, but most of society isn't. Most of society lies in order to get a second date. Most of you are trained. Most of us are told, lie on your first, second, third, fourth date in order to get another date. So what are we going to do about that? You know, that's the question. Everyone makes stupid mistakes. Again, we live in this world where everyone's like, you're an adult, you should know better. Well, then why don't you know better? Why aren't you perfect? Why do you make mistakes? Why does everyone around you make mistakes? Why do your parents make mistakes?
It's not just... Okay, I don't know who she's referring to here, but if it's about the treatment of Katie Bugs, then the point is that not everyone's mistakes are projected out onto a public platform for the purpose of damaging someone else. Like...
mistakes. Why do politicians make mistakes? Where did we get off thinking, oh, once you're an adult, you'll know better? Okay, well, Spider-Man meme. Why don't you know better? Why don't you know better if you think you're so fucking smart? You don't know better. I guarantee you're going to have a situation happen in your life and someone's going to say, why didn't you know better? For the same reason Katie doesn't know better. For the same reason George doesn't know better. For the same reason your mom doesn't know better. So I think we're being so dishonest when we have these conversations. Adults don't know better until they do. And when they do, then you can hold them more accountable. See, Weinstein knows better. Lots of people knew better, right? It was planned, it was methodical, targeted, thought out. Now with Walter...
What a vapid thing to... Adults don't know better until they do. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. You could literally say that about anyone. You could literally say that about anyone.
It's a little
about
more
anything
interesting
ever.
Because did Walter intend to be a predator or did he think he was being a man? And often, what really is the difference?
You know, sometimes you think it do, but it don't. You know? It is what it is.
It's a bit of a joke. It's a bit of a joke. Everybody relax. It's a bit of a joke.
Please,
so
I'm
when
gonna
you're
have an
methodical,
episode.
when you're planning out text messages, when you're gaslighting people, when you're telling people you love them and you're going to leave your spouse for them or be with them or marry them or, oh, you've met my mother or I've knocked you up. And then you claim, well, I was just crazy. Things were crazy. Things were a mess. Oh my God, I was stressed. Oh, I didn't understand. Okay, cool. So everybody else needs to know better except the person making the accusation. So again, should Katie, who's freshly 18, know better? Should George, who's isolated and was spent 3 years in COVID, know better? Should they know better?
Older and popular content.
What is she even rambling
and he
about?
was 8 years older than me and far more powerful.
Like, yeah, sure, I guess he's got more subs than you, but I mean, the guy was 26 at the time and you were 18. Who cares? I don't know how-
Me. I think 26 and 18 is super inappropriate. I don't think it's...
Okay. Okay, Brittany. Lay it out for us, Brittany. Why?
Against the law inappropriate, obviously, but I do think it is super inappropriate, and I do judge you. I judge anyone who's got that age gap going on. If my brothers called me and said, hey, I'm 10 years, 6 years, 12 years older than this girl, I'd be like, what are you doing? Judging you. This is a bad idea. So you say, who cares? I think it's gross, and I think it shows your maturity level. If you're 26, if you're 28, if you're 30, dating an 18-year-old, sir, do you also need your mother to burp you and tuck you into bed? Why are you dating a child? 18 is legally an adult, but to me, at 35, that's a child.
Yeah, also, they weren't even dating. They were at a party and almost fucked.
So yes, I understand. But everyone's perception is different. Just imagine, again, your own siblings, your own friends bringing home somebody with that age gap. If you're into it, that's your culture. But lots of us, that's
just like who cares? It would depend on the individual. No, if they're behaving, like, if it's literally like, if it's a 26-year-old who's like kind of a layabout loser dating like some 18-year-old who's got no fucking like ditzy retard 18-year-old who's got no idea what's going on. Yeah, you're gonna look at that and be like, okay, yeah, well, we can't see what's going on here, right? But it totally depends on the individual. Like, you would judge that because you can see, but you've already got a negative conception of that 26-year-old. If it's like a 26-year-old who's got their shit together and then some fucking, I don't know, like 18-year-old going in who's like started uni doing like some crazy fucking biomed at a top uni or some shit like that. I just say biomed because I know it's Theopathos doesn't. He's smart. Is that biomed? I can't remember. Anyway. But you get my point, right? There are situations where both are like pretty mature, where you would be like, oh yeah, that's not really a problem. And they're dating, and that's totally fine. Because the age should not be a disqualifying factor on its own here. The idea that you're immediately judging just based off of that's very weird when they're both adults. You can definitely see situations. There are always, obviously, there are relationships between adults that you're gonna judge based on the details of those relationships. But that's gonna become more down to the disposition of the people and how well put together their fucking lives are, more than just what number is their age? They're both fucking adults. They can both make their own decisions. Why are you trying to? Why is that? Why is that your dictating thing?
Huge red flag, bro.
How this has become a relevant part in the first place in the situation that a 26-year-old flirting with an 18-year-old is a problem, like that anyone's supposed to care about that. I mean, come on.
Come on. Why are we watching this video? Why'd you guys spam me with this video? It's so silly. You know, 18 is not a child. 18 is arbitrary. You know, we made it up, guys. You know, 18 doesn't actually make you an adult. There's only a line in the sand we put down and we're like,
sorry, what?
Come on. Why are we watching this video? Why'd you guys spam me with this video? It's so silly. You know, 18 is not a child. 18 is arbitrary. You know, we made it up, guys.
Okay, yes, yes. It is arbitrary in the sense that it's placed. The line is placed somewhere that we just sort of decide on it. It's mostly guesswork based on, you know, how do we sort of feel? How do we feel about how mature someone is at this age, based on the sort of things they can do and the sort of things they can engage in? So yeah, that it is true that it's arbitrary, but the point of setting that arbitrary line is that it's a goal for society. It's like, by this point, you should be ready to engage in society fully, and past this point, we expect you to engage in society fully, right? And there has to be a line somewhere.
18 doesn't actually make you an adult. There's only a line in the sand we put down and we're like, that's an adult. You know, in Europe, the age of consent is much lower, right? So.
Ah. Okay, this is going to be a base Britney stream. I see where this is going. Okay, I'm on board, Britney. Let's go.
So again, adult is like a construct. We made it up to like signify a time in development. It's like the closest we could get to that makes sort of sense.
Worst, like you call the guy a little bit creepy and say, if that was my daughter, I wouldn't want her with a 26-year-old. But she's trying.
And yes, that's true. George did not know her.
Also, it's not even true that the age of consent in Europe is much lower. That's not true. Because I believe it's 16 in most of the US. Is it not 16 in 26 US states, I believe? That's the same in the UK. I think France and Germany are like 15 and 14 is as low as it gets. I think one of either France or Germany, I think one of them is 14, right? I actually know this info because of the pyrocynical allegations. Okay. Thank you. 14 is rough, obviously, but it's not like it's quote unquote much lower. It's like most of the US is 16. It's like it's as though she's presenting it as though it's like 18 everywhere, except for a few places in Europe where it's like 12. Like, no, that's not, that's not what it is. It's like 16 in most places, America and Europe.
Her age, he assumed she was over 21. So George.
France is either 15 or 14. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. Wait, let's do it. France age of consent. 15. Germany, age of consent. 14. There you go.
George did not know she was 18.
to use this to imply he's some kind of predator. Listen to this. She's talking as if 18's the new 8.
Later that night, when I left, I received
I mean, it kind of is, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are so young. For them, they were just 18. And that's why, like, it's always a red flag when people might...
Wait. Is this Bing AI being retarded? Sorry, I've got Bing set as my default search on my Edge. Sorry, guys. And the little blurb on the right-hand side. Let me read it to you, okay? When I search Germany age of consent, this is the AI generated age of consent blurb. The legal age of consent in Germany is 14 years old. This means that anyone aged 14 or older is legally able to consent to sexual activity with any other person aged 14 or older. Germany's legal age of consent is the highest among the countries in Europe and Oceania. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. The highest? 14? Are you sure about that, Bing?
my life are willing to date people so young. I'm like, man, you're really stunted, bro. You're so stunted. Like, I can just tell you're so stunted in order to find this attractive.
Instagram DMs from him, and in my Instagram bio, in bold, was my age, 18, confirming he knew how old I was.
And with this having more power thing, I think Destiny...
Hey, it's my lawyer. How many years am I getting?
does it pretty well, noting that there's power imbalances in nearly every relationship or hookup. But just because there's a power imbalance doesn't inherently make it predatory or abusive. It's only if the person who has the power abuses that power. Just because you're a big YouTuber doesn't mean people...
Exactly, but from her perspective, she feels like that might have occurred, which I think is where she's wrong in. I don't think George...
Sorry, let's run this back. Let's go back into it. We're running it back for... the quote I missed.
Tended to use that power for maliciousness, and that's where the big miscommunication is. And so now people are doing it to Katie. They're assuming maliciousness on her part that I don't think they can actually prove. I don't think they can prove she's being malicious. Because guys, if all these freaks on her side of the aisle are freaking out and they're like, it's a crime, then none of them are being malicious. They literally just think it's wrong. Do you get what I'm saying? They're not targeting you with like intent to be cruel. They literally think you're wrong, like you're a bad person.
None of them actually think this is a crime. None of them think anyone would ever be prosecuted over this. None of them genuinely believe that. I'm pretty sure some of them said he could be prosecuted. Pretty sure that was said at one point. Like, it's just, no one actually believes this. No one actually thinks this. None of them actually think that.
You know what I'm saying?
Work 9-to-5 jobs are now beneath you and you can't hook up with them because it's inherently an abuse of power. That's ridiculous. The only time this would be a problem is if he said he'll give you a shout out if you have sex with him, for example, because yeah, then he's abusing his power to try to get sex, but that's not what George does at all.
I figured that's just how things were, that was the price I had to pay to be there.
Are you serious? You felt like this was your price
also,
to
this
pay
kid
for being...
this kid looks like he's 12, bro. Like, I would never think of him as a...
Okay. You are okay.
An adult. Like, I would never even think to like this is a child. I don't know who are watching, but this is what a child looks like.
George does it all.
Middle-aged women hate white boys with swag. You are possible. Oh.
That's a child.
And he's abusing his power.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a child. Like, I don't know how old this person is, but this is a child, right? Like, how old is this human? How old are they? They cannot be even in their 30s. Like, if they're in their 30s, they look like a child, which is good for you, I guess. But this is, I'm assuming, like a young person. I would never look at this human at a mall. I don't go to the mall. That's for teenagers. I would never look at this human at a restaurant and be like, oh, yeah, that's an...
Huh? I mean, malls are, yeah, there's no, like, mall, we call them shopping centers here. But yeah, there's no malls anymore, really. I mean, it's all dying because everyone just shops online. But the idea that going to a shop, like, going to, like, a retail center, it makes you a teen. If you go to like a place with a bunch of retail outlets, it's gonna be you're gonna have everyone there. You can have old people, families, teenagers, normal adults, college students. It's gonna there's all types of people that go. So I don't. What is this?
An adult. I would feel weird to me. I'm an old lady. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not trying to ostracize him. I'm just trying to say, to me, it would be weird if I, as a 35-year-old woman, went for this dude. I'd be like, you see how inappropriate that is? This is a baby. Maybe he's not a baby. He could be 40, but like he looked like a baby. You know what I mean?
And it would still wait. So it would be inappropriate if Lyrics was 35. He just looks like that. Lyrics 35. That he just looks like that. You think it would be inappropriate for you two to date? Just based on because she just said he could not be, but he looks like one. It would be totally inappropriate. So if he was 35, he just looked like that. You think it would be inappropriate?
So again,
Queen at the shopping mall, looking like a teen, hanging out with like, okay, dude.
okay, Katie, George. I wonder how many people can get through this without trying to read their minds, because both of them seem authentic. George even said Katie feels authentic to him, but also this is she's handling it very poorly. But how could she not? You know, they spent 3 years of their life, guys, not socializing during COVID. A lot of them are very stunted. A lot of these people are very stunted. You know what I mean?
To try to get
even this guy who's saying like 26 and 18, who cares? Lots of people care about that age gap. My parents would care. My parents are very like I'm not a fan of age gaps. If the younger person is younger, like my parents would be like, why are you dating someone? If you're 26, why are you dating someone who's 18? Why are you doing that? So people care about these.
Listen, that Shauna Ray shit is retarded. I don't care. Fucking if she got some fucking disorder, that's an adult. She can go do whatever she wants. Me personally, I ain't gonna be fucking no woman that looks like a 7-year-old. But listen, is it not better that some guy fucks her over an actual kid?
Things.
Sex, but that's not what George does at all.
I figured that's just how things were. That was the price I had to pay.
Like, can Andy Milonakis not fuck? Okay, do we not let Andy Milonakis fuck now? Is that
to be there?
Are you serious? You felt like this was your price to pay for being around him? So
yeah, that's pretty bad. That means she did the thing again. She did the Weinstein situation, but again, George isn't Weinstein, and she's not one of those actresses. But she did make the mistake of again willing to sell her soul for status. Super unethical. I don't recommend doing it.
What?
Lots of people are willing to do it. I don't think you should.
I mean,
that
well,
doesn't change the fact.
Yeah, I agree, but that's what she thinks the Weinstein victims did too. Because that's what she's drawing on again, right? She's drawing on that same thing. So she thinks Weinstein victims. That's what it seems like, right? Am I correct? Is that a leap? It seems like she's saying the same thing. That if you put yourself in these situations, if you accept these situations happening to you, you're selling your soul. That these Weinstein victims sold their souls.
The fact that George could have been a predator at the same time. What's really important is that this was two, I think, innocent people miscommunicating. And I think that's the problem. Like, I think that's the problem.
Already there's some questions raised just with her first allegation stream, especially given that all of this is just her own testimony. Not one screenshot or text was shown to let us know that she even ever interacted with this guy. But George then releases his response video, putting into question a lot more things about Katie's allegations. First bringing up that Katie outright lied about George being the one who insisted on the drinking games, showing text that it was actually her and her friends who asked them to play.
Another thing that she told.
Yeah, I think that's like really shitty. Right? Like I don't think anyone's like excited about Katie's decision to do this. Right?
So wait, you're accepting that she lied? So wait, does Brittany think she lied?
We're not excited about it. No one's excited about it. Obviously, George is like the victim in the situation. And Katie's the victim of her own upbringing and psychology. She's struggling. She's young. I have faith that she'll be okay. I mean, most of the planet's shitty anyway, so I don't know why we're attacking a 19-year-old like any of you are better. But also, it's a different marketplace for accusations, going online, suffer. Like, all of this stuff is a different game. Like, I don't think people are as consistent with their values as they think they are. I just think it feels like they want to be. I feel sorry for Katie. I mean, I feel devastated for Katie. I don't think we disagree on that. I mean, I feel devastated for her.
Okay, it's one thing to be like, okay, I judge slightly, like, as in, like that. I even said this a minute ago, right? It's fine if you see a 30-year-old dating a 19-year-old. Yeah, that's gonna raise a fucking eyebrow. You go like, okay, well, what's the deal there? What's the deal there? Why are you dating 19-year-olds? If it's just because 19-year-olds are hot, then whatever. But if it's because you're looking for the most manipulable, groomable, impressionable woman possible, well, then that's a different problem. But the idea that you say it is inappropriate, which is what Brittany said. She said it's inappropriate. Blanket. That's retarded.
Right? Like, this is really difficult. I just don't think she was a victim of intentional essay. If anything, she was a victim of unintentional essay, which I think is very common in other cultures. And I think it's really wrong to tell other cultures you can't have a place with nonverbal consent. But if you want to be extra safe, you'll always use verbal consent. But even verbal consent isn't guaranteed because, like, you know, people, you have to be with, it's not about verbal consent or nonverbal consent. It's about actually recognizing you're with a person you can trust and you're both clearly communicating. How about that? It's not even about the kind of consent. You know what I mean? Sage says, I disagree that it's not essay. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair opinion to have. I know lots of people who would agree with you on that. I mean,
Isn't the groomable part why Red Pillars recommend dating young girls? Yeah, and it's why fucking passport bros will get, like, you know, women that can barely speak English, like, just fucking control their access to everything in the country they ship them to.
By definition, for a lot of college campuses, it's essay. For a lot of, in a lot of situations, it is essay. But for me, I can't do that without the intentionality, you know? Sage says, I don't think it was intentional, but I do think it's essay. Yeah, I could see that. By definition, I think it is subjectively essay.
Wait, I thought there was no objective in this, Brittany. I thought there was no I thought...
in a certain...
I thought it was no object. I thought it was all... But now you think your one is better. Because you've got the subjective objective. Okay.
Oh. Sage says, I don't think it was intentional, but I do think it's essay. Yeah, I could see that. By definition, I think it is subjectively essay in a certain bubble. But for me, I'm not going to count it.
In a certain bubble. Okay, guys.
Unless it's intentional. I think that's really important. Hades, you said, I don't think
she wasn't actually, guys, you may have thought for a moment there that she was actually taking a position. She wasn't. She was just saying human's gonna human.
Say because it was a very slow progression of flirting to cuddling. She wasn't flirting. He read it as flirting. Keep in mind, this is a bunch of autistic people who don't know what's going on, right? To cuddling, to him making more of a move over the course of hours and positive responses from Katie. The dilemma is that it was a miscommunication.
Yeah, it's objective in the subject's bubble.
Exactly. Guys. It's not a fact that you got positive communication from Katie. It was a misreading of the situation in which he thought she was positively reinforcing him to make a move. That's the point. The point is it was hours long, having a good time, laughing, cuddling on a couch. And she did cuddle with him. But like in a lot of bubbles, cuddling doesn't matter. So we
Yeah. And you should learn to interface with the world. It may be that sometimes you cuddle your friends and you guys that means nothing. It could mean nothing in your friend group, but you've got to learn to interface with the world. And by the time you're 18, you should be at that point. Thank you, Chud, for the raid. Welcome in, Chud Raiders. We're just going over Brittany Simon's coverage of Lyric's Katie Bugs and George Not Found video. And she is giving her usual take, which is that nobody's wrong, nobody's right. It's all bubbles and humans gonna human. Also, apparently, the Harvey Weinstein's victims sold their souls for a job.
We have a bunch of neurodivergent kids who are all pretty sure they have autism, and they probably all do, okay? Totally miscommunicating every second, right? I'm going to be real with you. That's just how shit happens, okay? That's how shit happens. You know what I mean? And that's why you have to have the conversation with people like, do we all understand what's happening? Do we all agree, like, what's going on? You know? David said, I agree. SA is culturally and even subjectively defined. I have experiences being touched inappropriately without consent at parties, but I never considered SA because of the context. For sure. Oh my God, women touch men all the time. Men touch women. Old ladies touch me in the store all the time. People touch me all the time. You know, they're not, it's so frustrating because they don't even think about it. And that's the problem. We're not thinking about each other. We're not thinking about that other person.
Well, if you don't want someone to touch you, don't let them touch you. I don't know what to tell you. If someone's trying to touch you in public, just go, hey, no, and pull away. Hey, fuck off. Is that hard? You're not being... These people are not forcing themselves on you. You can probably hold your boundaries here, really, can't you? But you're choosing not to.
We're thinking about the situation. We're thinking about Riz. We're thinking about looking cool. We're never thinking about that. If you thought about that person for a fucking second, you would think, hold on, I should really check. Now, you can also misread situations. You know how many situations I've misread and I'm like, I am so embarrassed. I literally thought that was the move. I literally thought we were on the same page. What do you mean? We're not on the same page? It's a huge part of being a person, which is why it's so important to know.
This is just, okay, whatever. Listen.
Who is a predator and who is the person who's miscommunicating? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Like, let's say 1 in 10 people are predators. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Okay, so is this a George Not Found defense she's giving now? I literally can't tell because everything she says is so jumbled and both sidesing that I cannot tell. She's not giving any real position on any event that happened. She's just saying, well, both people are right from their own perspective.
But that means the majority of people around us are just stupid. They're just stupid. They're making mistakes. And so again, we have to decide, how do we make room for those people to make mistakes? And also, you don't have to do the heavy lifting. You don't have to be people's moms, guys. You don't have to take care of George. You don't have to take care of Katie. None of us are responsible for these two people's feelings. You're only getting worked up about it, not you, my audience. The world's getting worked up about it because they feel like it represents something else. Or maybe something that's going to happen to them. But I hate to tell you this. I have warned person after... You know how many of my...
Well, yeah, okay. It's just like, yeah, sure. Well, welcome to Audience Dynamics. Yes, the audience is not directly involved. They have no real stake in it. They enjoy the content because it's a form of entertainment. They can project their own feelings or beliefs about life and the world and things that are going on around them. Yes, that's how any entertainment, any media works. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Brittany. What a vapid fucking useless thing to say. Thank you. Why even bother? I feel like this is how I feel with everything she says. It's all just vapid. There's no reason saying anything. If you're not going to stake a position, why just sit there and go, oh, you know, everyone's right in their own way. Everyone's right in their own way for 3 hours. What benefit? What benefit are we giving here?
Male friends, I have warned us, like, don't date an 18-year-old. You're 30 years old. Don't date an 18-year-old. Like, no, she and I vibe. We're totally alike. We play the same video games. You can warn people. I'll tell women, don't date him. He's in his 50s. What are you doing? Don't be with that person. They're so much older than you. Date somebody your age. No, he really gets me, bro. He's like so mature for his age.
I know this is always how Brittany's been. I know. Believe me.
At the end of the day, you can tell people. They still have to make a decision about how they want to interact. So Katie's responsible for not standing up for herself. George is responsible for not getting verbal consent. They are all responsible for not drinking with people they already knew. And society is responsible for not training our kids better. And the world is responsible for even giving birth to us in the first place. Everyone is responsible and no one is. The world is a reflection of us as a whole.
Stumbling and everything.
No one drank.
Stumbling and everything.
Then George brought up that when he touched under Katie's shirt around her...
Hold on. Great question. Brennan says, at what point is miscommunicating slander, though? I think slander has to also be intentional. I don't think sharing your story is the same. I think you can have like a sickness.
Yeah, usually it does have to be. Yeah.
I think my stalker is really, really sick. Because I think all stalkers are sick. I think they're inherently sick people who slander and stalk and like twist things about people because they feel like they can't get close enough to that person. And I think those people are incredibly ill. And I think it's clear we should categorize them as sick people that are beyond like reason, right? Lots of people are sick and still within reason. But I think you can say that these people are sick. I think Katie is suffering from something that is impacting her ability to see things outside of her own feelings. And I think that that's really sad. I think that's just so hard.
Okay, so is our only disagreement here gonna be that Katie isn't necessarily malicious? She's just mentally ill and had a bad experience, and there's a bunch of malicious people around her utilizing her to attack George? Because that's not really a significant, that's not a huge disagreement from Larry's video to my understanding. Yet she's called this the worst video on the Katie Boggs and George Not Found allegations. That's not really a huge disagreement. The broad strokes of the story are essentially the same here. I'm sure Lyrics may even say, if I went to Lyrics and I pitched that argument, I'm sure he might even say, yeah, I could see that. I just lean more towards Katie Boggs being intentional because of this, this, and this. I don't even think he would be like, yeah, that's a really stupid thing to say. But she is formatting this point in the worst possible fucking way and taking so long to get to what she actually thinks about the situation.
I think that must be such a burden, you know, and I definitely wouldn't wish that upon anybody. And I just don't imagine that Katie is purposely slandering George, though she could be, because I can't read her mind. In the same way, guys, I'm so terrified I'm defending another shitty man. What if George is secretly shitty and he's convinced all of us he's not? Now, I don't...
Occams, we took the Keffels Wiggler to celebrate Keffels' rape story coming out. That's why we have the Wiggler, okay?
I don't think that. And I still don't think Katie is necessarily malicious because there's just not enough evidence for me to write them off as intentional predators. But I cannot write George off as an intentional predator, and I can't write Katie off as one. It feels really inconsistent in terms of how I know them as tropes, but I could be wrong because I can't read either of their minds.
Waist stomach area.
I mean, it's about solidarity. I mean, solidarity. It's about solidarity.
Admitted the fact that they were already cuddling with each other.
Well, she claimed to have been raped by her ex, right? During the her week of drama streams that she did back in like December.
For over an hour at this point.
And what's worse is the internet does it tenfold. The internet is so mad for Katie reading George's mind and attributing malicious intent to him, and yet you will do it to her. Because you think you have enough evidence. Don't you think her bubble also thinks they have enough evidence?
Laughing and giving no indication
we stand with
she was
Keffels.
Uncomfortable at all.
We stand with Keffels.
We had previously been cuddling on this couch for around an hour. But
in my bubble, cuddling is neutral. If you look up the definition of cuddling on Google, it comes up, he cuddled the baby. Because that's what it comes up from my Google. It's about children and parents. Cuddling is neutral.
That he did it even in my silence.
Cuddling, yeah. Okay, yes. Cuddling is not inherently sexual, yes. But again, she's all about context. She's all about bubbles. In the context of it being a VidCon after party where everyone is drunk at 3 a.m. and they're laying on a sofa cuddling a guy and a girl who have been talking all night. That does take on a non-neutral meaning, doesn't it? She's being autistic. I genuinely think she might be autistic. She might actually be autistic.
Devil says it's harder to sympathize with her, though, at least for me, because of the damage his career took and the thousands of people demanding for him to be beaten. I'm sorry, did you all miss the death threats Katie got? Did you all miss the messages she got? Did you all miss how hateful these boys are? The internet is a cesspool of adult losers. And anyone who sent Katie a hate message is just as bad as people who send George a hate message. And if you don't think so, you need to go to therapy, see a priest, or go get your brain checked. I don't know why you think Katie didn't receive any fucking death threats or any kind of hateful messages. You're fucking insane. Like, this is such a weird idea that you don't think.
So what did Larix even say?
It's about children and parents. Cuddling is neutral.
That he did it even in my silence.
Devil says it's harder to sympathize with her, though, at least for me, because of the
Wait,
damage
I haven't actually seen this before. The fuck is this footage? Lyrics overlaid with the
his
Kate
career took
Rice
and the
video.
thousands of people demanding for him to be beaten. I'm sorry, did you all miss the death threats Katie got? Did you all miss the messages she got? Did you all miss how hateful these boys are? The internet is a cesspool of adult losers. And anyone who sent Katie a hate message is just as bad as people who send George a hate message. And if you don't think so, you need to go to therapy, see a priest, or go get your brain checked. I don't know why you think Katie didn't receive any fucking death threats or any kind of hateful messages. You're fucking insane. Like, this is such a weird idea that you don't think horrible things happened to both of them. Like, obviously, Katie was getting an insane amount of backlash. Like, an insane amount of backlash. Big content creators covered her and went after her. She's getting whole video essays made about her. Like, no offense to the anti-George people. They were no way as loud of a voice as the anti-Katie people. So again, like, I don't know.
That's your bubble. That is actually Britney's bubble. This is actually Britney's bubble. You should go on Twitter. Go back on Twitter. Filter by the dates. See what the response was in those few weeks. See what the broad response was. They were getting raped. George, Dream, Wilbur, God rest his soul. Totally dead now. Where's the Wilbur video? I need the Wilbur video. Where's the Wilbur video? R.I.P. They were getting raped on Twitter. We up.
I don't know how to tell you guys this. No matter what, everyone's going to get shit on because the internet's a cesspool of human beings. My heart goes out to George. George, call me. Okay, we'll talk about it. But like also, they're young, they're stupid, they're making mistakes. And genuinely, like all of this is because of cultural expectations of bubbles. You expect something of someone, they didn't do it. It's like world shattering. It's like, what? You're misunderstanding each other. I don't write mean messages on people's videos. And the fact that I know like a lot of people do, I'm looking at you. In Katie's world, like I don't think Katie knew it was going to be this bad, the backlash. I think she thought people were going to understand where she's coming from. But no one is. Every video essay we watch about this, nobody cares where Katie is coming from. Zero empathy. She's a malicious snake, Britney. Okay, but like maybe she's like 19 and traumatized. But like it's not to justify her actions. I'm just explaining why they happened. But again, when we're having these conversations, you have to understand that I would love for people just...
Yeah. You can just go, yeah, but maybe this. Yeah, but maybe just traumatized. But you have to grapple with whether that is a likely explanation, whether that is as likely of an explanation as malice. If there's more evidence pointing towards malice, if you sit there and you look at the evidence, there's more evidence pointing towards malice, then you've got to kind of grapple with that. You've got to either say, okay, well, no, I think there's this other exonerating circumstance, or you've got to say, okay, yeah, I accept there's a lot of evidence in that case, in that direction. However, I don't think it's conclusive enough for me to make that determination. That's all perfectly fine things to say, but that's not how Britney's framed this. From the very start, she's been saying there is no evidence of malice. It's not true there's no evidence of malice. There's no proof of malice.
Just be like, why did she do this?
To any guy who dates this girl after this, you deserve everything coming towards you. This is every sign in the universe you're gonna get telling you to stay the fuck away from this woman.
My story is about power and age and consent.
No, your story's about you being flirty with a guy one night.
We don't really know that. See how he's putting that on her? What does flirty mean? Chronically online people are like arguing about social expectation to chronically online people.
And regretting it later on. But unlike most normal people that this happens to, where they just move on with their life, you had to masturbate
I don't think...
and pretend.
Okay, Lyrics is definitely online, but I mean... like, this idea that everyone's just chronically... no one's got any life experience. Yeah, you can say it about some people, sure, and Lyrics is young, for sure. But, listen, I think Lyrics has probably been on dates and shit. We know Lyrics had a girlfriend, okay?
Tend to be a victim to try to destroy this guy's life and career over your regrets. After George's...
Yeah, that's assuming she has, like, a regret. We just don't know this information.
Response video though, Katie then fired back on Twitter with the most unhinged shit yet. At first, I think her strategy was trying to go into this situation as the
I think Brittany
vulnerable,
claims to be some
small,
kind of
little,
Arab,
weak,
no?
crying girl to get everyone's sympathy, but that's all completely gone now. She's mad and she wants blood. I mean, this response reads like a fucking ex-wife in divorce courts. For now, this is what I have to say. He admitted to touching me, that I was drunk, that I verbally didn't consent. In my mind, the conversation is over.
Yeah, I've heard various claims of heritage.
My Discord's like, I can't with this bubble. I'm gonna go study. Wow, this video made my Discord go study. That's how cringe it is. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's just, oh yeah, this bubble's insane. You know, I think ultimately, the people Katie surrounds herself with are probably not the greatest. But also, we don't know. You know, I don't think the internet knows who told Katie to post the letter. We're assuming it's her friends, right? So do we even know that? Do you guys know who recommended for Katie to post her letter and come out with her story? Because we're making a very big assumption that it was her friends, right? Isn't that kind of a big assumption? Do you guys know that for a fact? And I think even starting there is so important. Because I think everyone made that assumption. But does the internet know that? Did anyone confirm it? Did anyone say that? Did she say it? Did she say who encouraged her to put out the story? I feel like everyone's forgetting how easy it is to make assumptions so like far in advance. Even I did that where it's like, maybe it was her friends. We don't know that. And I think that adds another layer to the
But we do know that our friends have been involved. And we do know that the Max GG's guy was just, she cried in my arms. Right? Like all these people are intimately involved with each other. Some of them live together. They are collaborating info. We know they're sharing information for the purpose of these hit pieces, because the message, obviously the text message was sent to her by another person and misattributed in the process. We know that they are communicating.
Story. What if it was like a grown-ass adult who recommended it? What if it was like somebody really like in a position of authority? What if it was like, I don't know, somebody from YouTube or somebody in her life that was like, this would be reasonable to do? What if it was somebody who was internet inept? We just don't know. So making that assumption is a part of the issue, right? Is we don't know who encouraged her to express this. And you guys keep saying she's an adult, she should know better. Well, then George is an adult and he should know better. Everyone should know better. We should all know better. But we don't, because we're coming against cultural differences. I don't think Katie's unjustified in releasing the video. Really? I really disagree with that. I think it was very inappropriate for her to come out with the story before she talked to George.
Okay, I don't even disagree with Brittany's take here that much. I don't even think I disagree with Brittany's assessment of this very much at all. Why is it framed so poorly, and why is she so shit at communication? It's crazy. No. Her total full view of what she thinks happened with this Minecraft delegation shit, I don't think I disagree with very much of her read on it, with very much of her prescriptions. My issue is that she keeps flicking backwards and forwards between everything's okay in your bubble and there's a right way to do things. There's an okay way to do things. And it seems like she uses the bubble stuff as a way to avoid being almost challenged on any prescriptions or challenged on any reads of situations, because you can always just say, well, in context, well, in that bubble. I don't agree with her overall point. What do you disagree with in her overall point? I think it is a perfect... I don't know which side... You can't 100% determine malice. So I probably would lean away from 100% saying Katie was totally lying about everything. It seemed pretty malicious when that screenshot was first exposed as not quote-unquote real. But the misattribution, like that could have happened. My bad. Okay. Oh, you mean you do agree? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you can't prove malice for Katie. There's a lot of influences from her friends. She could be really retarded. It could be a miscommunication. She shouldn't have come out with the video. She should have spoken to George. This should have all been settled behind closed doors. I think that's a totally fine read. That's a totally fine read. So why is the video, why is this called the worst video on the Katie Pugs and Joshua Fan allegations when you disagree with one slight thing, which is whether Katie was malicious or not. And why do you keep flicking back and forwards between giving broad prescriptions and saying that you can do whatever you want in your own bubble? This is nightmarish. And no one wants to hear... Okay, everyone gets that some people have crazy beliefs and can be locked up in their own little social context where everything has their own has its own meaning. Everyone gets that. People just want to hear what your prescriptions... I want to hear what someone's prescriptions are. What how someone thinks things should be done. Not just the constant retreating back to everything's okay with certain people. Well, there's nothing interesting about it. Everyone gets that. Everyone, yes, I think most people now are on board with what two adults do, two consenting adults do in their own privacy is fine. Most people are on board with that. How you want to run your life is fine. Most people are on board with that. Now tell us how you think it should be done.
I think she should have talked to George about it. Look, this is my bias. I am deeply terrified of falsely accusing anybody. I'm terrified about lying about people. I do not lie about people. I don't like it when people lie about me. I don't want to lie about anybody. So I think I would have so much... until I talk to George, I would assume that I don't have the whole story. So I feel like if I was Katie, and I'm older now, I'm 35, so to be fair, Katie's 19, I would have talked to that person and be like, just to confirm... You know, because it could have been, like, I know it could have been a miscommunication, but I think it's bad. You know what I mean? Sage says, I don't see it as a cope, but I don't think it's bad for her releasing it. I think it was bad for her mental health. I think it was worse for Katie in the long run, and it was certainly worse for George. So I think releasing the letter.
Brittany's saying cuddling is... Yeah, she's certainly saying dumb shit. She's making dumb arguments in this video. Cuddling is neutral because when you Google search, it shows a baby cuddling with their mom is peak retardation. Yeah, absolutely. And even under her own thoughts about this stuff, I feel like she should still be able to recognize in certain context, like, yeah, cuddling is neutral. But obviously what Larix is saying is in that context, cuddling is obviously not neutral. Anyone, pretty much, like, I don't know what fucking bubble do you have to be in where a guy and a girl who have been flirting, cuddling at 3 in the morning at a VidCon after party isn't prelude to some kind of sexual activity. What bubble do you have to be in for that to be the case, for you to think that? I don't understand what bubbles exist in the modern Western world where you would fucking think that, unless you're literally from like some shut-in religious hick incest family that has no concept of normal sexual interaction.
Or the story was way worse for George and horrible for Katie's mental health. I just think it was really bad for her to post the thing. It is a lie. You said it's not a lie. No. She definitely lied because she assumed malicious intent on his part. Well, it's not a lie. Okay. Assumptions are lie adjacent. She misconstrued and assumed something, just like this guy's assuming of her. So I think there's that where, because she's assuming malicious intent on his part. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Is like
the bubble math here is crazy. Bubble math is going crazy right now. Bubble math is going crazy right now.
Lie adjacent. She misconstrued and assumed something, just like this guy's.
Welcome to the chat, retarded monkey. Big fan of that using it. Thank you. Welcome to the chat, retarded monkey.
Of her. So I think there's that where, because she's assuming malicious intent on his part. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Is like we couldn't have read George's mind. We didn't know what his intent was. I think it really should have been handled in private though. Sage says from her perspective, she's telling the truth. Yes. So from that perspective, I agree with you. From her mind, it made sense to release the video. But I think in hindsight, obviously, even still, guys, even from her position, thinking it's a real thing, that she got everything correct, that she read the situation perfectly, I really think it was worse for her to release it, especially since she didn't name George in the first accusation video. It wasn't about victims because she wasn't warning people against him. She was doing it for her sake, and I don't think it helped her. I'm not convinced it helped her, but I don't know.
Headline farming. She's completely ignoring the context that cuddling with a guy and even
What do you mean, Queen McCraw? I've been on Shot Stream loads of times.
Over an hour gives him the nonverbal green light to go and make the advancement of touching your tummy or like around your waist area under your shirt, and also that you weren't the only one drunk. One was drunk at this place too.
And at this point, I was pretty drunk, and so was basically everyone in this room.
No one tried to get you drunk and vulnerable to prey on you. If anything, like, your friends are more to blame because they're the ones who suggested drinking the alcohol and playing the drinking games. But this is either her purposely playing dumb as a tactic or just
Get a chat when you want to. No, one day, but only when certain conditions are met.
Brain rotted by Twitter that she thinks that every time a guy is to make an advancement on a girl, that they have to explicitly ask verbal consent to touch, to kiss, to do anything, to have a hug. This isn't real life. This is
That is real life. That is a thing, and lots of cultures practice it. And I think you are chronically online if you think that's not the case. Like, you're chronically in your bubble if you think that's not happening. It is not common on the planet. Like, there's a globe. We live on a planet. There's like 8 billion people, and plenty of people ask for
I'm not convinced on that globe part.
Consent.
But okay.
Now, not all people ask for consent. Many cultures don't ask for consent in that same way.
That's epic.
Right? So again, we have to be aware of the cultural difference. So he's saying that's not real life. This is online internet.
Yeah, I guess the cultures that don't ask for consent for anything are savages. We call those savages, Brittany.
It's real life in a lot of places, not in the majority of places. Asking verbal consent is a newer phenomenon, and I'm here for it. I believe in it. But also, I think this narrative of black and white thinking of like, this isn't how the world is. Some of the world is like that. You don't have to practice it that way. She's not wrong for wanting verbal consent. I don't think she was going through a medical freeze situation because she thought it through.
Yeah, I fucking hate this ultimate subjectivity shit. It's totally insufferable. As Chud once said, some cultures are better than others. It's just true. Look, we gotta try. There's right and wrong. You gotta be able to determine right and wrong. You gotta come up with a consistent standard through which you judge other cultures. Okay? Just going, oh, well, it's all subjective. It's fine that marital rape's accepted in this culture. It's fine that stoning people to death is accepted in this. No.
She literally said, this is what I thought I had to do to fit into the group. Nobody projected that onto her. She wasn't having a freeze, fight, flight reaction, guys. I don't think Katie was having a freeze reaction. I know people keep bringing that up. But from Katie's own storytelling, she wasn't having a freeze reaction. She was socializing and laughing and cuddling and going back and forth between grabbing more alcohol and sitting on the couch and telling her friend goodbye and sitting on the couch. Like, she wasn't having a freeze reaction. She made a calculated decision that she thought she had to make because she misunderstood the situation. She thought in order to be accepted by these people, I had to go along with it. That is her misunderstanding the situation, which is why a part of me knows it's got to be a social deficit of some kind, because either from COVID or being at home because of COVID or something.
So it's fine when Brittany mind reads. Brittany's allowed to mind read, but Larix isn't. Brittany is allowed to say that, oh, because of this piece of evidence, I can determine what Katie's motivation and state of mind was. But when Larix does it, now that's bad. Okay, I see how it works.
She thought it through, so she wasn't having.
I know she's got, my Shinigami eyes say she's got a social deficit from lockdown.
To be accepted by these people, I had to go along with it. That is her misunderstanding the situation, which is why a part of me knows it's got to be a social deficit of some kind, because either from COVID or being at home because of COVID or something, because she thought it through. So she wasn't having that freeze reaction that some of us have in really scary situations. She wasn't having that. She was thinking about it. She just misunderstood this situation. If you know the whole story, if you've watched all the videos I've done on it, there's a lot of information. This is not it. He's not even giving a lot of the information. There's so much more.
How Katie just flat out lied about a message.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm getting so much information coming through on Brittany's coverage here. She's really backing up her points.
I don't know why Katie took down the streams about George. Well, probably because it was too much, guys. She was getting severely bullied.
Shinigami Eyes would never be offered to her. Or no, because Misa got Shinigami Eyes, no? Retarded women can get Shinigami Eyes. In fact, they're sons that have shit.
Like, people were sending her death threats. Of course she took the video. I'm glad she took the videos down. I recommend she does take the videos down and she doesn't talk about this and she comes back in like a year or two when she's better and she can move on from it.
Sacrifice
I do think
women.
she should privately
Okay,
talk
that's
to
the message of
George and they
Death
should
Note.
work it out. And I do think this is a miscommunication.
She's too
And I
old.
think the world needs to move on from it. Because I don't think either of these people maliciously sought each other out to like tear each other down. I don't know though, because what are we gonna do, right?
The guys who was there in the hotel with them. She claimed they said, "I'm currently watching George, 26, cuddle with Katie," to make George look worse and even more creepy that his own even friend pointed it out how uncomfortable he was.
That wasn't me. I don't know where they got that from.
And then after George confirmed it wasn't this guy, he then asked Dream if he could get into contact with Katie to ask what was going on and what happened here. Who was the person who sent this message, or did she just completely fake it?
I do acknowledge and own up to the fact I completely was wrong about that. But again, I'm saying, even though it wasn't from his friend, it was yet another person in the hotel room that acknowledged the weirdness. Yes, it wasn't from that guy in the hotel room, it was from the girl in the hotel room. Like, I still think the screenshot, it's not a fake screenshot as well. It's a real screenshot.
It keeps going though. This whole we cuddled section of her response is absolute gold. Katie goes from saying that she was so scared around George that she couldn't even move or breathe to now saying that, well, you know,
Was that a Brittany capture issue or was that a Larry's editing mistake I just
cuddled
saw?
section of her response is absolute gold. Katie goes from saying that she was so scared around George that she
Oh,
couldn't
it was Brittany,
even
it was
move
Brittany.
or breathe to now saying that, well, you know, yeah, I did cuddle with him, but, you know, that's just me when I'm being drunk. A lot of the cuddling he may have felt was personal, was just me being drunk.
I didn't.
Yeah, that literally makes so much sense. I love how he can't get that. I love that so much. I love that he can't get that. That's what I mean. I love how inexperienced people are. I really got to write a book about all my experiences because, bro, the world does not revolve around you and your culture. The world is diverse and strange. And it's really hard to know a predator from a person making a mistake. It's really difficult because you're assuming people know better. And people don't. People are so fucking dumb. Yourself included. We're so dumb. And so we think we know better. Ask that to... Walter came inside of a woman who didn't have birth control. And he's like, you got pregnant?
Yeah, but nobody thought Walter knew. Nobody thinks Walter knows better. Everyone thinks this guy's retarded.
How'd you get pregnant? How'd you get pregnant? I didn't even think you could get...
That's not an excuse. He should know better. He should know better. But nobody thinks that guy knows better. Nobody thinks that. Nobody's looking at Walter and going, yeah, that guy knows what he's doing. That guy's got it together.
pregnant. What are we talking about?
Yeah, she done black scent. This is epic.
And so we think we know better. Ask that to... Walter came inside of a woman who didn't have birth control. And he's like, you got pregnant? How'd you get pregnant? I didn't even...
A literal caveman monkey retard voice. Okay.
Who didn't have birth control. And he's like, you got pregnant? How'd you get pregnant? I didn't even... How'd you get pregnant?
How'd you get pregnant?
I didn't even think you could get pregnant. What are we talking about? Oh.
Speak or move. I remember being
That's
afraid
epic.
to
That
even
is
breathe.
epic. That goes hard.
Katie,
Brittany
when
won.
she's too
No,
scared
Brittany
to
won.
breathe. See how he shows a specific vibe? We don't know that this was the vibe. This is the... See how he's inserting the vibe? Because in his head, he has an image. We do this a lot here.
Why come you get pregnant and shit?
I say, okay, stop. What image do you guys have in your head when I say this? Because we all project our own understanding of words into our own heads and go, this is what we imagine when we see this. I think you can have an ideal world where you get verbal consent and everything's great and everyone's communicating, but you also got to be that person. So everyone's kind of fucking up here. But look at this picture he's using. This is the image he has in her head. I don't have this image at all. When they said cuddling on the couch, I imagined side by side in order for her to turn towards Ghosty. So there's like they couldn't have been sitting like this necessarily because it didn't make sense, you know?
I remember being afraid to even breathe.
After being caught lying, this girl has completely backtracked her entire initial allegation. He took it a step further in front of everyone, all because he assumed things and assumed he had the right. The gall of a man to assume, after spooning with a girl for over an hour, that he could reach in for a tummy tuck.
Oh, guys, now is a great time to remind you, actually. So please, like, subscribe, donate, buy a membership, gift membership, buy a super chat if you can. Go to discord.gg/Queeman, twitter.com/Queeman. Open your wallets, open your hearts. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Touch. Lock him up. Throw away the...
It was a boob touch, but we don't know. Yeah, that wouldn't... It depends on the friend. So, like, it depends on the situation. Like I said, I just know that that's not appropriate in all situations. It's okay that George made a mistake.
Yo, thank you for the gift,
the
John
problem, is
Sanchez.
they keep saying George did everything all right. George is also allowed to be held accountable for...
My stream element shit is actually muted because I muted it for that conversation last night and didn't turn it back on. So I'm scamming you guys right now. I am scamming. I'm scamming. And it's back on. There we go. Emery donated and we missed it. There we go.
Nibba Simon is human sludge and is level 1.
For making a mistake, that's based off culture. He assumed Katie's culture and that was the mistake he made. You know what I mean? Like, George assumed, and that was his mistake. The mistake is always assuming. It makes an ass out of you and me, guys. Assuming is the mistake. Someone saying, like, this is normal, this is great, cool. Child marriage is also normal in parts of the world. It doesn't matter if it's normal. The point is, if you want to do better and you want to communicate better, you got to change what's normal. But also, both things can be true. George made a mistake. He assumed the cuddle was going to translate to something sexual. Katie made the mistake that the cuddling wouldn't transfer to something sexual. You're all making the mistake that maybe it was more sexual. I'm making the mistake that it was much more platonic. We don't know because we're assuming.
Katie then says that she actually did get up, but to get more alcohol after getting sexually assaulted. And then after getting more alcohol, sitting right back down next to George, crawling back into his arms to...
Larry's going hard here.
Sexually assaulted, I guess.
Yeah, that part sucks. That's the part of the miscommunication.
Sorry, you can't just really. That's a miscommunication. There's got to be a point where we stop calling it miscommunication, though. And it seems like you probably, in the moment, you were a bit more pliable to it, and then you sort of decided against it. Come on. There's a reasonable bar to set, no?
Right? I don't think people, I hate to tell you this, and I know this is really hard for people to hear.
Yeah, here we go. Into bubble mistranslation. Here we go.
And I don't think Katie was maliciously targeted by a predator. I don't think George meant to essay her. So this is kind of a caveat. People will stay in abusive relationships. They will defend their abusers. They will stay in the house of their rapist. They will literally to this day talk about how it did not impact them, that they still love them, that they're still good people. I don't know how to tell you this, but this dream we have that, oh, if this person assaulted you, you would leave and run away. Yes, some people would. Lots.
That makes sense in a long-term relationship. That makes sense in a long-term relationship. You're at a fucking party. You haven't known this guy for very long. You've got no buy-in. There's nothing keeping you going back to this guy. I'm gonna go full bonobo. I'm going gorilla mode. I'm gonna start smashing shit. Rape time event.
Lots of humans stay. It's how the whole world was built. Have you seen Attack on Titan? What does Ymir do? She stays. It's insane. That pissed me off. I would love to have seen her gotten the Titan power and left. I would love to have seen her fight the king.
Brittany is right here. Some people have a whole set of issues around their self-esteem that cause them to attach to these shit people. You're like painfully retarded if that's like an actual thing you're saying right now.
Maliciously targeted by a predator. I don't think George meant to essay her. So this is kind of a caveat. People will stay in abusive relationships. They will defend their abusers. They will stay in the house of their rapist. They will literally to this day talk about how it did not impact them, that they still love them, that they're still good people. I don't know how to tell you this, but this dream we have that, oh, if this person assaulted you, you would leave and run away. Yes, some people would. Lots of humans stay. It's how the whole world was built. Have you seen Attack on Titan? What does Ymir do? She stays. It's insane. That pissed me off. I would love to have seen her gotten the...
No way. Dude.
Would love to have seen her fight the king and leave, but she stayed because abuse victims often stay. I hate that. I hate that. But it's true, which is why we have to be aware of the situation we put people in. But we're not trained to consider the position we're putting people in because we're, quote, it's normal. Yes, I agree with you. Contextually, it could be. Or it could be bad. For some people, this would have been just a fun night. I've had so many fucking drunk nights like this. I've had so many fun, exciting, wonderful parties with friends, boob touching, dry humping, sleeping together, non-sexual, sexual, non-sexual, sexual, all of it, all of it. Never had a problem with SA. Up until I was like 22 and I went to a specific party. Never had a problem with any of those instances. Never had a problem with hanging out with really famous people. Never had a problem with age gap relationships. Never had a problem. I mean, I had problems, but not like bad problems, you know, like normal toxic problems, but not like SA problem. This is not my story. These are different people's stories with different reactions and assumptions and all of it. I can't say, well, this is how it happened for me, so this is how it's happening for Katie. And same thing. Don't take your trauma and project it onto Katie because, like, Katie's not you. How did Katie feel about it? How did George feel about it? I don't think Katie intended to lie about him, so I just don't think it matters. It only matters to the people being impacted, and that's Katie and George. And if they decide this doesn't matter and they're going to move on from it, the internet needs to move on. But the internet won't because it's not about Katie and George. They're going to project themselves onto the situation and they're going to bully both of these people into not fixing the situation because it feels better for their egos. The right situation, the right ending is for George and Katie to talk this through and move on from it because neither of them intended to hurt each other.
But, okay, the idea that it's just the audiences causing this is fucking retarded. We know there's a bunch of people around Katie who fucking hate these people. We know that. We know they're in communication. We know they collaborated on the release of the allegations. Just blaming this all the audience capture shit, a good argument in most cases, totally misses the dynamic here if you attribute everything to that.
Initially, maybe now they feel vindictive, but initially they never intended to hurt each other. It just ended up hurting so much more than needed.
Okay, so you chose to keep getting sexually assaulted for the sake of his ego. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I hate to say it, like, I understand what he's trying to say, but that is actually really common. Yeah. That is actually what happens. That's, yeah. But I also understand the idea of, like, Katie didn't have the acknowledge, she didn't even know, I don't know how aware, I don't know her mental health, guys. I don't know how aware she was that she had any chance to move out of that situation. Like, I don't know that, but she's definitely severely wrong, right? Like, Katie is wrong about assuming anything malicious out of anyone, but I think that's also an indication of some sort of mental something, you know? Not Impressed says this lyrics guy is 20, by the way. Okay, so he's a baby. He doesn't know. Like, he doesn't know things. It's okay. If he watches my video, maybe he'll learn a lot.
You have to, you can't just, this is so... Listen. Yes, I agree. Larix is 20. Larix is a kid. Larix probably, like, there's no way Larix has it all figured out. 100%. Yes, agree. But you have to actually dismantle the points he's making. You can't just dispel that. You can't just go, well, Bubbles, also, you're a kid. You can't just lean on that.
But yeah.
Dude, you should have led with that. Come on. Okay, now I get it. Thank you. I'm in disbelief even one.
F-word says, I'm glad I found a female talking about this. Okay, can I tell you something? I'm so sick of these fucking men talking about this subject matter like they have any fucking clue.
Dude, I forgot. She specifically made this video to cause me a rage response.
And I'm also a grape survivor, so I feel like I have a pretty good insight.
Actually, no. Sometimes they have the worst insight. Actually, disagree. Nope, disagree. Actually, sometimes rape victims, child rape victims, have some of the worst insight into this stuff, frankly.
And to getting in dealing with things. So I'm sitting here like,
okay, in dealing with things, well, actually.
who are these men who are all commenting, bro? And even some of the women that, I'm sorry, are not like, again, no one is thinking about Katie, which I understand. So
men can't comment. Again, who are these fucking men?
Will do it. Everyone is thinking about George, but not even George, because you're not listening to George. And I know, you know what pisses me off the most is how many content creators have reviewed this and not even reviewed as many logs as we've reviewed. And there's still stuff I'm missing. But like literally, I will watch them do a live stream and they're like, oh, I haven't watched any of these videos on my own. I'm like, oh. So they don't even know what George has said. They're just assuming. They're like fighting for George on his behalf when they don't even listen to what he says. Oh, I'm so annoyed.
One person bought this story, let alone the vast majority. I didn't want to embarrass him or myself. I know it's a dumb thought.
Why infantilize lyrics? Because he's a baby. He's a kid. 20? That's a baby. He's a baby boy. He's a baby. He can't even legally drink alcohol.
What a condescending bitch. What a condescending bitch. I hope Larix stands his ground, personally. When you're done with this segment, can we go over a couple of your gripes for Attack on Titan writing? I agree with your 20 opinion. Maybe. So I literally stopped watching Attack on Titan off season 2.
He's a baby boy, can't rent a car, can't do shit he wants, can't run for president. He's a baby boy.
I am 25, and Zinoj, if you say another thing in my chat where we need people like Brittany as fucking stupid to not give a fucking incel perspective. If you keep saying retarded shit, I will just time you out because you're not actually giving any arguments. You're not responding to any points. You are just saying retarded shit.
Thought process, I acknowledge it. No, it's not that it's a dumb thought process. It's that you are completely full of shit and are lying. You were clearly into him that night, which is why you were giving him signs.
You were clearly into him that night, which is why you're, ma'am, I know you're 20, but that is an incredibly inappropriate assumption. You are making
what am I supposed to do with a 160 character limit? I don't know. Be creative. Other people manage.
a lot of assumptions, sis. See this? See this? So human. I can't even, he's 20. He's like a baby. I'm not even going to hold it against him. He's a baby, you know? Brooke says I'm 21. Does that make me a baby? Yes, Habibi, you're a baby. I am literally, what?
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna say you don't understand this because you're young, you have to explain why. You have to explain why you've got a better understanding, how you've got a better understanding. You've got to lay all that out. You cannot just lean on age.
14 years older than you. 14 years. Yes, you're a baby. When Dr. Kirkonda talks about how people in their 30s are babies to him, I'm like, that's me. Dr. Kirkonda's like, I'm in my 50s. People in their 30s are so young. I was like, that's me. Yes, I'm a baby to somebody in their 50s and 60s, and you're a baby to somebody in their 30s. That's how it works. Okay? That's how it works.
Okay. Yes, thank you for explaining differences in age, Brittany. Yes. Significant differences in age mean you're at different stages of life. Thank you, Brittany. Yeah, we understand that. Now explain how Larix is misunderstanding the situation because of his age. You've not done that.
But look at this baby. Look at this 20-year-old baby who's making so many assumptions right now.
To keep making advancements on you because
I dislike Brittany just as much as the next, but I don't think she is harmful and her perspective can be helpful to other women. Well, I disagree because she says there's an entire class of people in society who should kill themselves.
you enjoyed the night. You enjoyed yourself. That's why you even stayed afterwards to keep cuddling and spooning with George and having a good time after your own friends left.
That's true. She shouldn't have done that. She shouldn't have done that. But I think Katie's mental health is impaired. I don't think she knows. I think she's socially stunted for sure, you know?
Your best friend left because they were throwing up. And you were so into George that you didn't go help out your best friend who's drunk and throwing up because you were so...
Yeah, no one helped out for anyone.
Desperate to get back in George's arms.
That's not...
Oh, she's been like that literally the entire time. Literally the entire time. I don't know what you mean by the internet got to her. Where's the original one? Where's that video? This video that this guy's watching
I
here.
wasn't necessarily expecting.
Because if you can't, well then, I must be right. But with that said...
That's 2020, so at least since 2020.
Oh, he's being kind of a dick. Oh. Ooh, this is gross. Ooh, no. No. Ooh, this is gross. Ooh, this is bad YouTubing. This is bad. This is very, see, I want to say malicious, but he's not intending it to be malicious. This is bad YouTubing. But he's young, he's 20, he's a baby.
This is bad. Wait, what's bad YouTube?
Gross.
Up because you were so
Yeah, no one helped out for anyone.
desperate to get back in George's arms. You
That's not. Oh, he's being kind of a dick. Oh.
Okay, and you were saying Destiny's kid shouldn't have been born 2 weeks ago, Brittany.
Ooh, this is gross. Ooh, no. No. Ooh, this is gross. Ooh, this is bad YouTubing.
Brittany, you were saying your baby better off dead. Oh, I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. 2 weeks ago, Brittany. 2 weeks ago. Earlier in this video, you said Harvey Weinstein's victims compromised on their values and sold their souls. Earlier in this video, Brittany. And you're saying Lyrix is being gross and a dick for saying it's bad YouTubing because he called Katie desperate to get back into George's arms? You're so retarded. You're so...
This is bad. This is very, see, I want to say malicious, but he's not intending it to be malicious. This is bad YouTubing. But he's young, he's 20, he's a baby.
You said 2 weeks ago, this is a verbatim quote, your baby better off dead. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. And now it's so desperate to get back into George's arms. This is bad YouTubing. This is bad YouTubing. I'm gonna lose my mind. This is white boy. This is an attack on white boy swag. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I hate this whole situation. This whole Minecraft rape situation is a big... It keeps getting worse. Lyric's getting roped in now too. It's just because he is a white boy that is willing to disrespect women, okay? That's the facts. White boy, got everything going for him, and he's willing to disrespect women, okay? That's the facts. That's the facts. And they hate him for it. They hate him for it.
Ooh, this is bad YouTubing. He's see how he's maliciously saying, like, he's putting it...
Oh, now. It's okay when she mind reads, guys. It's totally okay when she mind reads.
On her that she's like a harlot, that she's a slut. That's not accurate. That's wrong. That's not true. Katie's not. Katie's not that girl. That's the wrong categorization for Katie. Oh. Nope, Goth, I disagree. All of her actions point towards her wanting to hook up with George. Not at all. Wrong. You guys are all fucking incels who've never fucked a woman.
Fuck! Dude, I'm gonna lose it! Dude! She's so annoying! Holy fuck! We know Lyrix isn't an incel. We know... Why don't we ask other YouTubers whether Lyrix is an incel or not?
Absolutely not. Wrong. 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 Zero. Maybe the women in your bubble. That is not a universal take. And you all need to fucking stop that shit. Okay? You need to figure it out, because you trying to read a room and guess her is wrong. I'm wrong. That is not the assumption. All of the text messages, all of the tweets, all of the things, okay, could have been, could have not been, probably not. Ooh, this is a bad section.
You weren't this scared girl who couldn't move or breathe. You moved very fine to get more alcohol and back into his arms while spooning with the guy. And you could breathe fine. You were able to breathe.
Dude.
But then the night came to a close.
Fucking hate
you
this
woke up,
video.
you spoke to some of your friends.
Like, what? How is she? I agree with her read on the fucking drama. Like, well, I don't necessarily agree. I wouldn't take a broad. I don't think I would take a firm stance on whether Katie Boggs herself is malicious or not. But it's to the point where there's so many malicious people around her that the function of her allegations was malice. Like, that was... There's multiple people with malicious intent working, collaborating on the document and on the story, and feeding information, feeding interpretation. Like, it's so colored by malice that I don't see it. It's like, yeah, if you read it that way, I get it. But you can't 100% prove Katie Boggs was malicious. You cannot 100% prove that. So I agree with that. And if Brittany wants to argue, listen, I think she's just got a fucked up perspective. Sure. You do that. How is she fucking up everything else so bad? How is it every other part of this response so fucking bad?
And then regretted it afterwards.
It's like, you're a kid, you're an incel. You're a kid, you're an... No, I'm not gonna respond to the point. You're a kid, you're an incel. You're a kid, you're an incel.
And now we're going on this campaign to try to destroy this guy's life over just you regretting the night that you...
See, we just don't know that. We do not know that. You know what I mean? No, Goth, I'm gonna block all of you. She might not be a hoe, but she's acting like one. If you think that's hoe behavior, you guys are fucking virgins, bro. That's not even close. You think what Katie described in that night was hoe behavior? You have never met a hoe. What? That is crazy. That is a crazy assessment of a hoe. Not even close, bro. Not even fucking close. Her categorization is literally virginal, non-slutty girl. She's nice behavior. You guys are fucking... She might not be a hoe, but she's...
over just you regretting the night that you...
See, we just don't know that. We do not know that. You know what I mean? No, Goth, I'm gonna block all of you. She might not be a hoe, but she's acting like one. If you think that's hoe behavior, you guys are fucking virgins, bro. That's not even close. You think what Katie described in that night was hoe behavior? You have never met a hoe. What? That is crazy.
I mean, I would agree that just calling with the guy at a fucking after party isn't like hoe behavior. That's not hoe behavior. I'd say that the alligator afterward, being an alligator, is kind of hoe behavior.
That is a crazy assessment of a hoe. Not even close, bro. Not even fucking close. Her categorization is literally virginal, non-slutty girl. She's not even slightly slutty. That's not even, like, it's not even close. Look, you can hold Katie accountable. Not you, not that you should, but Katie could be held accountable.
Spooning a guy that she's known for, like, that she's met a couple times over the last day or two, and then has spent time at a party fucking getting drunk with and talking to all night. That is not hoe behavior. That's pretty normal. That's not hoe behavior. It's not hoe. You're retarded. You are retarded. No, you guys are retarded if you disagree with what she's saying there. Sorry, no, now you guys are being incels. Now you guys are being incels. If you think that's hoe behavior. This is how people meet. This is how people start fucking. This is just how life works. I don't...
Accountable. Like, you don't even know what hoe behavior is, bro. That's crazy.
Clearly, we're consensually and giving him signs to make advancements on you.
Oh my god, can George read minds now?
Spooning a different guy you just met every party is classy. No one said that. No one said that. Does Katie Boggs spoon every guy she meets at every party? Where's the other story of Katie Boggs spooning someone at a party? Where's the second one? Spooning a guy at a party is not hoe behavior. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Oh, hey, I'm reading your mind. I think you want me, bro. Bro, I feel like he made this video to slide into my DMs. I can feel it. It sounds crazy, bro. You're being crazy. You're assuming so much.
Yeah, she was interested. She did. It seems like from all the information, it seems like she was interested in George at the time. 100%. Yes. No one's disagreeing with that. But a girl being interested in a guy and playing along with advances or making advances, that's not being a hoe. Being a hoe is like promiscuous sexual engagement. Promiscuous, high-risk sexual engagement. I
know this sounds forward, but that's all this is. But my absolute
wow, the way people read minds, bro.
favorite part of both Katie's stream and written response on Twitter is her taking up the role of the Martin Luther King Jr. of sexual assault victims, giving her commentary on the...
Oh, people, Biza says, do they think she's lying about being asexual? People definitely believe that, but they also don't know what it is. Like, asexual people can have sex. So they don't know what it is, first of all. People don't believe it, second of all. Also, I don't know if she is asexual objectively. I think she might be. She might be demi. She's probably demi. A lot of people are demi and they think they're asexual, which asexual and demi have some overlap. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get you guys to stop assuming. Stop assuming he's a predator. Stop assuming she's innocent or malicious. Stop assuming they're bad people. They're probably not bad people. They're probably naively using the information they have to make really, like, messy decisions.
Current state of society that we live in. These situations always end in victim blame. If I didn't do this, she shouldn't have worn that. She shouldn't have been drinking. She was asking for it. We are embedded into a society to cover for assault. It's what we are built on. I want this situation to circle back to the original point, to make aware the reality that girls...
Yeah, Katie's speech was cringe, bro. She's 19. I don't know what you wanted from her. Her speech was super cringe. She's literally 19. I don't know what you thought it was going to be.
Face in this community that...
like,
well, it makes it seem like it's less about giving her story and more about trying to send a message and have impact. And then it's like, well, okay, what's the intention? What impact are they trying to have? Like, this is the line of reasoning, though. Like, Larix is building the case for why he thinks Katie was acting maliciously. It's not just that it's cringe, it's the fact that delivering a speech, like, what's the goal here? What's your goal?
Like, have you seen Trump's speeches? He's the president. Cringe, bro. Cringe.
Many people are forced into silence. I just don't want victims to feel like they have to prove themselves to people to be believed, that they are only valid if they had proof.
That's true too. You obviously don't want proof, but if you're gonna make accusations...
This actually is a great comparison to the Xena and Poppy stuff we've just been doing. Because then, Malcolm was saying there's a slam dunk legal case, and we were trying to argue whether there was proof of actual malice that is going to make it a quote-unquote slam dunk. This is not a legal case. No one thinks George is suing Katie for defamation. No one thinks it's even an option, really. I don't think. I don't know if anyone's even floated that. It's not... I don't think it's really going to fucking happen, obviously. I mean, maybe it was floated when it first came out that Katie had misattributed that. Well, first came out that when people thought she'd faked that screenshot. Maybe then there was an argument to be made. But now that we know it's misattributed by a friend, there's like, no, I don't think you can get a defamation case out of that. But this is just a YouTube video. This is just a YouTube video laying out an argument. This is not fucking court, Brittany. Yeah, in court, they're not going to let you use the fact her speech was cringy to make this argument. Sure, agree with that. But we're not trying to prove this in court, and no one's making a legal argument here. So it just seems bizarre that she just can't follow the point being made.
Jimbly super chatted $10. I have put something in the farm that requires your urgent attention.
Thank you for the $10, Jimbly. Okay. Let's jangle the keys for Jimbly.
Oh, that shit crazy, bro. You look just like the nigga who killed my cousin. Hey, that shit crazy. You look just like the nigga who killed my cousin.
I am worried about this video, you know.
I just met my cousin kill her. I'm saying, fam, why the fuck you keep staring at me, bro? I'll run in your ass. Hey, you, the small one, bring your ass here. This is my yard. Hey, you want to check in with me, homie? You get shanked, homie. Straight up.
Hey man, I'm new on the yard. I heard that you're the one I need to come for some protection.
Sag your pants and hold my hand. You clean. That clamp. Oh, that shit.
Dude.
That's what's difficult, is like you kind of have to have evidence for that, or you can speak your piece, but people might not believe you. But to be fair, even if you had proof, they won't believe you. So you're kind of like fucked. Again, because George didn't intend for it, I think it changes things. And I think that really does play a role. But also, I think there's a line between intending and then making mistake after mistake. Like, George was sorry for what he did. He did apologize to her. Like, he was very sorry for how he treated her because he didn't realize she didn't want it. So I think that's really good of George to apologize. Like, what a gentleman. And then it's her job to go, okay, he's really sorry. I think he's being genuine, if he is being genuine. And then to say, wow, look how much we miscommunicated. This should be a lesson to all of us that miscommunication happens, that people are going to miscommunicate, that people are going to run into these situations, that you and me and I and everybody, our kids, our friends will run into situations like this. But assuming people are innocent is also assuming people are malicious. It's also assuming people aren't liars. Like, some of y'all best friends be lying, bro.
I believe you. Katie believes you.
This nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self.
Wait, Discord said this guy is malicious, but it is known. Is this guy like, is content known for being malicious? Wait.
What?
Has he made other videos? I don't know who this is. People were just spamming this.
Larix is known for being, Larix is known as malicious. Okay, dude. All right.
Video in my chat saying, watch this. F word with the super chat says, I dislike criticism being called victim blaming. Yeah, I mean, me too, obviously. So obviously, I don't know. Obviously, like, criticism and victim blaming are two different things. You have to know which one you're doing. Go check out this channel and see the videos I've posted on this situation as a whole.
Yeah, that was
this
sad.
is like my 4th video. So this is my aftermath. I'm just trying to keep up with it. I'm going to skip the Katie's Twitter response because this guy is way too biased and annoying and he's not factual, but he's a baby. So I'll give him a chance to grow. Let's go to this is the part I wanted to watch, the reactions part. Okay.
Despite all these things, though, the provable lies, the contradictions, I mean, even her own friend coming out and giving a different story from what hers was.
Yeah, but everybody had a different story from that night. George, Dream, her, everyone had a different story from that night, which is normal in a drunk night.
But the public response from the majority of fans was this. I don't want him to be deplatformed. I want to see footage of him being attacked. 11,000 likes. Electric chair. 8,000 likes. Abusers will lie. Men with power who target young women lie so that they can remain in power and keep wielding their power against young women. Remember that when you watch this. He is going to do everything
Literally,
he can
like
to
I
stay
said
in power.
earlier,
Did I
the response on Twitter was fucking insane when these allegations came out. The idea that she would sit there and pretend that, oh, the anti-Katie people were actually always way louder than the Katie people. No.
click onto the Harvey Weinstein documentary? What the fuck is happening? They even added VidCon to get him kicked off on the roster this year, and it worked. But it wasn't just fans saying this. Even the people closest to him and multiple other creators in the community all completely threw George under the bus.
What the living fuck are you thinking in that moment? Oh, what can I get away with? You gotta be out of your fucking living mind, drunk or not.
They're so young. They're so young. And you're so fucking old. What are you doing? They're kids. They're teenagers. I think that if you have been caught clearly irresponsible with this position of power over teenagers, I don't think we should allow a second opportunity when we're dealing with teenagers and children.
I can't, bro.
That is disgusting to say. Many victims are told, you were sexually assaulted, you just changed your mind. You just regretted it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's traumas are playing into this because these are real phenomenons. Rape victims are disbelieved. People are punished for having triggers. People are doubted. People want evidence.
Oh, Boots is judging the lip balm application here.
I can't, bro.
When
Okay,
we're in a
I
position
see.
of
Yeah,
power
okay.
over teenagers, I don't think we should allow a second opportunity when we're dealing with teenagers and children.
I can't, bro.
That is disgusting to say. Many victims are told you were sexually
She
assaulted.
going
you
for
just
it.
changed
She
your
really
mind. You
using
just
that lip
regretted
balm.
it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's traumas are playing into this because these are real phenomenons. Rape victims are disbelieved. People are punished for having triggers. People are doubted. People want evidence. People think you're lying. These are all true things. I do think people who have
Yeah, what? Wait, but what's wrong with that? What, are you implying there's something wrong with that?
been assaulted probably latched on to Katie's
Wanting
experience
evidence?
and felt like she was expressing something really authentic, which I think you can say psychologically it was. Again, your feelings are valid. It doesn't mean your actions are like reasonable. And so I don't think Katie's actions were reasonable in expressing this story because I don't think George maliciously intended to assault her. But I think regardless of how you feel, culturally speaking, it could be both things could be true. And so I think we need to talk about that, right? Neither of them verbally communicated. Both of them were relying on physical communication. Both of them misunderstood. Both of them had an expectation of the other and both of them got it wrong. Both of them are drunk. I mean, Jesus Christ. Both of them were a mess. It just feels like a recipe for disaster, and it makes sense to me that there was a miscommunication and, well, everything that kind of makes sense to me. So with that said, I do think that victims of assault are latching way too much onto Katie and projecting themselves onto her, and I think that's a mistake. And I do think that people are defending George way too selfishly, and they're not listening to what he's saying because they're acting way too vindictive themselves. Like this content creator here, this child here, this baby, what is he, 20? This child.
God, Larix needs to stand his ground. I'm losing it. We need a Larix Britney debate, okay? That's what we need. That's what I'm desperate for now.
Here, he keeps saying things about Katie that's like he doesn't know, and he's assigning a lot of intentionality to her that just we don't know those things. And so again, assuming George is malicious is like assuming Katie's malicious, and I think everyone's wrong on that. I don't think Katie or George are being malicious, like with intention to harm, knowing they are wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think Katie or George know they're wrong and are doing it anyways. I think they both thought they were doing the right thing, which is why the road to hell is paved in good intentions, right?
And that's not true.
Just because they're 18, you think they're the same as a consenting adult who's 30, nearly 30.
I literally cannot.
Why is she infantilizing Larix so much? He moved out of his parents' home at 20. Didn't you say she did that 2 years ago? Yeah, I mean, I don't know when she moved out. I don't know. If it is true that she was living at home for a very long time, she'll just say that's just her bubble. But I would say Larix probably has, Larix is probably a lot smarter at 20 than she was at 20, if that is the case. And she's BPD as well, I believe, self-admitted. So she's probably only just gotten her life together in the last 5 years because you're basically a wreck until 30.
Like the road to hell is paved in good intentions, right?
And that's not true.
Just because they're 18, you think they're the same as a consenting adult who's 30, nearly 30.
I literally cannot. It's just so...
Sage says, I think according to your bubble, you don't consider it essay if it's not malicious intent, right? Right. I don't consider it essay unless two things are happening. So there's two things that have to happen for me to consider it some variation of a sexual assault. One, you have to know it is in your head and you're like, I know she doesn't want this or he doesn't want this, but I'm going to do it anyways. One. Or two, you know that if you brought it up to society, that society will hold you accountable for taking advantage of somebody.
What? This seems like such a stupid definition of sexual assault. I feel like
One, you have to know it is in your head and you're like, I know she doesn't want this or he doesn't want this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I don't think sexual assault requires malicious intent like that. Because someone in, let's say let's say marital rape, they believe the consent is given in marriage in some cultures, right? And there's always just consent. So they believe they do want it. So what, that's not rape now? Because they think they want it? Because they think there's consent? So that's not sexual assault? And their culture wouldn't punish it? So marital rape doesn't exist in Muslim countries. You would not judge that as marital rape because in their bubble, it's not marital rape. It's just such a stupid outlook.
One. Or two, you know that if you brought it up to society, that society will hold you accountable.
That is what she's saying. Bob Try, you're retarded. You're going to have to actually dispel this point, otherwise you're getting timed out on your next message. Okay? I've explained it. I've explained it very clearly. She said the two criteria for if something's sexual assault has to be either that you knew they didn't want it or that society would hold you accountable for taking advantage of someone. In a Muslim country, in a Muslim culture, where marital rape is accepted, where consent is given at the time of marriage, this person believes the wife wants it because consent is given at the time of marriage and the society wouldn't punish it because they don't believe there's anything wrong with it. How is that sexual assault under her definition? You explain that in your next message. She's not thinking that far ahead, obviously. 24-hour timeout. See you tomorrow.
For taking advantage of somebody. So like if you're an adult who has
that was what she was saying. That was what she was saying.
File,
you were wrong.
And you think you're in love with a child and you think you're giving this love to a child and you think it's authentic and real, it doesn't change the fact that you targeted a child. And so I think like an adult can convince themselves they're doing something that's right, but it doesn't matter. Like in that situation, regardless of how you feel about it, I think it's wrong. So there's that nuance there. I think adult to adult, unless you are targeting somebody for malicious intent, it's not SA. But I do think that if you're involving a child in it, then it's always malicious, whether you intend to or not. I think if you drug someone's drink without their consent, there's almost no way that's not malicious, even if you don't intend it to be. I think there's some nuances here. I also want to say I'm happy to jump into a bubble that considers it sexual assault, but also consider sexual assault not that bad.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. No, wait, that doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Drawing these exceptions, these are arbitrary exceptions to your definition. You have not made these make sense.
Intent, right? Right. I don't consider it SA unless two things are happening. So there's two things that have to happen for me to consider it some variation of a sexual assault. One, you have to know it is in your head and you're like, I know she doesn't want this or he doesn't want this, but I'm going to do it anyways. One. Or two, you know that if you brought it up to society.
Well, but the issue, Boots, with this previous part is that using this definition, if there's a culture where they think fucking kids is okay and someone thinks the kid wants it, like, this is the issue with the first part of her definition. And now she's having to come up with these exceptions where she's like, well, okay, but I don't think it's okay to fuck kids. I don't think it's okay to drug people.
The society will hold you accountable for taking advantage of somebody. So like if you're an adult who has like an issue with PDF file and
Well, you might say that, but she is not saying any of that here. None of that is being... She's not explaining any of that. If she thinks that, she's not saying that. Okay? So...
You think you're in love with a child and you think you're giving this love to a child and you think it's authentic.
Because my understanding is that Brittany thinks that all bubbles are equal and valid and that you shouldn't... That if people want to get together and have their bubble and do things the way they want, then they can do that and you can't stop them. And that you can't make these... And that you should, or you shouldn't, you know, be like, hey, you can't do that bubble. Your bubble can't be like that. That's my understanding of her perspective.
Real. It doesn't change the fact that you targeted a child. And so I think like an adult can convince themselves they're doing something that's right, but it doesn't matter. Like in that situation, regardless of how you feel about it, I think it's wrong. So there's.
But why? But why? But why do you think that's wrong? She hasn't justified this. She has not justified this at all. Why? You can't come up with a definition of sexual assault that does not include every single time that someone fucks a kid, right? And then just say, but actually it includes when you fuck kids too. No, you've got to justify that. You've got to justify that inclusion. Otherwise your like whole worldview is kind of fucked. It just seems like you've got a terrible view on this stuff. It just seems like you've created an argument. You've created a worldview where someone could theoretically fuck a kid unless you just throw in this arbitrary limit.
There's that nuance there. I think adult to adult, unless you are targeting somebody for malicious intent, it's not SA. But I do think... I'm
not saying that Britney is coming up with a worldview where it's okay to fuck kids. She's got this. Sure, she thinks it's wrong to fuck kids, but she hasn't justified that as part of this definition.
Involving a child in it, then it's always malicious, whether you intend to or not. I think if you drug someone's drink without their consent, there's almost no way that's not malicious, even if you don't intend it to be. I think there's some nuances here. I also want to say I'm happy to jump into a bubble that considers it sexual assault, but also consider sexual assault not that bad. So remember, I come from a bubble where sexual assault is really, really bad. So it has to be intentional because it's bad because it's intentional. It's not bad because it happened. It's bad because it's intentional. So if you want to say that sexual assault is unintentional and therefore not as bad, then I'm happy calling it sexual assault, as long as now we have a different standard for holding people accountable, whether they intended it or not, just like we do in court. We do give people manslaughter versus murder, right? We do give people an understanding of their intent. Can it be SA in your bubble if both parties were super drunk or inebriated, asking out of genuine curiosity? I think if both people are drunk, it kind of cancels it out. But I also think in some situations, drunk people have a different relationship with alcohol. So some people who are drunk have a better relationship with alcohol and can still assault people when drunk. Like if you hit somebody or get into a fight with somebody, I'm happy to be lenient in how that occurred because of the alcohol, including but not limited to psychosis stabbings or drunk driving. Like I'm happy to be lenient on people who were intoxicated, but it depends on how they got there. What's the context? Is this their first offense? There's so many things that have to be taken into consideration, right?
Who's his closest friend, for some reason did an impromptu Twitter space completely disavowing George.
I think that he did something fucked up. I think that what happened.
Amaris says, I don't agree with the statement that drunk people can't consent. If you drive drunk, you deal with the consequences. There's no I was drunk defense. There should be. I think we should consider how intoxication leads to a different relationship. You know what I mean?
What happened was fucked up. I think that it was terrible. And I think that I feel terrible for any involvement that I had. And I feel terrible for
this is the conversation I listened to.
Katie. I think that Katie deserves all the support that
George and Dream both said, be nice to Katie.
Give her. It is a terrible situation. It is a terrible thing. The pain that she feels.
He sounds like a fucking second grader who got in trouble in class. What is this?
That's what
it's a terrible thing. Pain is not good. Oh, gold star.
Interesting. So the 20-year-old is
Sorry, I literally got totally distracted for a second there. I was fucking reading something. I'm gonna run this back.
Completely disavowing George.
I think that he did something fucked up.
Inebriated, asking out of genuine curiosity. I think if both people are drunk, it kind of cancels it out. But I also think in some situations, drunk people have a different relationship with alcohol. So some people who are drunk have a better relationship with alcohol and can still assault people when drunk. Like if you hit somebody or get into a fight with somebody. I'm happy to be lenient in how that occurred because of the alcohol, including but not limited to psychosis stabbings or drunk driving. Like I'm happy to be lenient on people who were intoxicated, but it depends on how they got there. What's the context? Is this their first offense? There's so many things that have to be.
I mean, I don't think that's even that bad. That's not even that bad. Okay, let's say Because she's probably not saying. Keep listening. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it
To
out.
be taken into consideration, right?
Who's his closest friend, for some reason did an impromptu Twitter space completely disavowing George.
I think that he did something fucked.
No, that's not defending drunk. You guys are just retarded. I'm sorry, you guys. Some of you guys are actually retarded. You're having an emotional response. Brittany, all she's saying there is there are situations where you would be lenient. If someone's drunk driving because fucking, it's some insane situation where they've just found, like, you know, someone is literally about to die, they've been stabbed, they're the only one in range, they have to get into a hospital, they've been drunk, they have to get into a car, and then they hit someone while driving. Yeah, you're going to be a bit more lenient towards that person. You guys are looking for shit to be mad at. I don't know. It might be that Brittany has some insane view on drunk driving where she basically wants to let all drunk drive. It might be the case, but that's not what she said there. That's not what she said. Make the most extreme to defend drunk driving. How disgusting. Yes, go drive drunk. That's what I'm saying. Yes, Adam L., you're really smart and can engage with a conversation. I can tell you're a Lyrics commentary fan. You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. I'm defending drunk driving. I think it's really epic. Yeah. Fucking retard.
I think that what
Amaris says, I don't agree with the statement that drunk people can't consent. If you drive drunk, you deal with the consequences. There's no I was drunk defense. There should be. I think we should consider how intoxication leads to a different relationship. You know what I mean?
happened was fucked up. I think that it was.
I think we should
There should be. I think we should consider how intoxication leads to a different relationship. You know what I mean?
happened was fucked up.
Yeah? Wait, what's... There could be someone who only does bad shit when they get drunk. Okay. So maybe if you stop them being a fucking alcoholic, maybe they'll be a better person. And maybe some of those actions, when they're not things that they didn't have full agency over. What are you... Yeah, that is how people work. That's just a rational lens to approach. You guys are looking for things to be mad at here. It's not... No, wait, it's not insane. What she's saying isn't insane. That's not insane. Are you guys... Okay. Brittany says retarded shit. Brittany says insane shit. Not everything Brittany says is retarded or insane. Stop spurging out.
I think that it was terrible. And I think that I feel terrible for any involvement that I had. And I feel terrible for
this is the conversation I listened to.
Katie. I think that Katie deserves all the support that you
See?
can
George and Dream both said, be nice to Katie.
give her. It is a terrible
Okay, this means
situation.
nothing. This is fucking retarded. That means nothing. That means nothing. I don't have to listen to George and Dream. I have to do what they tell me to do. What the... Fucking Lyrics doesn't have to do what fucking George and Dream tell him to do. It's so dumb.
It is a terrible thing. The pain that she feels.
He sounds like a fucking second grader who got in trouble in class. What is this? It is...
That's what
He does.
It's a terrible thing. Pain is not good. Gold star.
Interesting. So the 20-year-old is not listening to any of the people involved and has decided he knows better than anyone that was involved. What an asshat. What a child, bro. Ugh, people are
Wait, haven't you also done that same thing, but just you're not 20?
so young. So the guy who wasn't involved is listening to 3 people.
Like, Brittany's whole thing, she defines herself as knowing better than everyone else. Because she sees the bubbles, and no one else does. Everyone else is in their bubbles, and she sees them. She literally defines herself as knowing better than everyone else. It's fine, because she's 35, I guess.
Who are directly involved in some capacity and is going, no, I know better than everybody involved. Don't you love humans, bro? You weren't even there, bro. Like, you can give your opinion and your advice. I'm doing it right now. But obviously, you're not listening to them. Listen to what they're saying so you can come to the best outcome, the best argument. And he's not doing that. That's funny. Discord says, we do consider that. That's why it's manslaughter if a drunk person hits someone while driving. True, true, true. We do consider it. You do get leniency. Yeah, this guy's an ass, bro. I agree, RK. This guy's silly. Yeah, so he's not going to listen to Dream. He's not going to listen to George. And he's not going to listen to Katie. What good is this video? This video is useless. Yeah, this video is literally useless. That's so funny. Jack with a super chat says, can you give me a synopsis of the situation? Someone was raped or someone was assaulted while drunk. I'm confused. Bro, I'm going to be real with you. No. One, it will derail the live show, and I hate when streamers do that. And two, I have so many videos on this situation, and it's too long to explain. It was a big miscommunication between socially awkward kids, and now the internet acts like they were there and they know what's going on. That's the synopsis.
Dude, gold star. Fucking Dream. Thank you.
I care about people, and I want people to talk to me if they have anything, any problem.
This guy is serious.
It's not about acting like you know better. People give their opinions. Yeah, people talk about it. Yeah, I don't. You act like you know better than everyone, Brittany. I don't. How is this a complaint she's making? Everyone just acts like they know better. No, people just giving their opinions. You are acting like you know better when you give your opinion, though. You are acting like that.
Seriously breaking down in tears, crying over this.
I never want to hurt anybody. I never want.
I'm sorry. He's definitely...
if you're younger than Brittany, don't have an opinion. She can't explain why. She can't explain why your opinion's wrong. Just, you're younger, so just don't give an opinion. You're 20. Owned. Larix, have you considered that you're, like, basically a teenager?
Definitely right. He's just edgy. You mean this guy, the guy we're watching? Is he edgy? Is that what we're saying? This guy's edgy?
Want to do
It's
bad.
not even spicy
I never
in
want
here.
to do evil. I never want to contribute to anyone's life in a negative way. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Katie. I really am.
This shit was a complete joke. Either he wholeheartedly means all this and is just that pathetic to throw his best friend under the bus for a tummy tickle after spooning with a girl, or this is all just another tactic for sympathy baits to try to get out of the situation the best way as possible. But not only Dream, George's second best friend, Sapnap, put out a tweet saying this. First things first, I want to say that I support Katie, and I think it's incredibly brave to come out and share your story in front of everyone, and I hope you're taking care of yourself and are doing well. Incredible.
Interesting. Like, he can't understand it. He has, like, very low empathy, maybe? Interesting.
Wait. Okay.
To try to just that pathetic to throw his best
A negative way. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Katie. I really am.
This shit was a complete joke. Either he wholeheartedly means all this and is just that pathetic to throw his best friend under the bus for a tummy tickle after spooning with a girl, or this is all just another tactic for sympathy baits to try to get out of the situation the best way as.
No, obviously the rape council shit isn't real. Anyone who brings up those stupid fucking... There's one thing I cannot stand, and it is these annoying I don't know that it's trans. I don't know that it's trans. Autistic, freak, loser, sped, commentary freaks who think it's funny to just, like, fake DMs. It's not funny. It's not a bit. It's not a good bit. Well, it is a bit, but it's not a good bit. It just sucks. It's lame. I didn't explain it a retarded way. I explained a perfectly good way that any normal person will be able to understand, Boots. Point is that you do not judge someone's actions. You judge someone's actions according to the amount of agency they have and the amount of understanding they have. That you take that into consideration. That's what she's saying. When someone's drunk, they have less agency. She said she still considers how you get to the point of being drunk. She still considers what your state of mind was when you were sober. But that your agency is reduced in certain situations, that your understanding, that your lack of understanding can reduce your ability to make the right decision, that these things should be considered. When evaluating someone's actions. That's what she's saying. But everyone's spurging out, going, well, it's defending drunk driving. It's defending drunk driving. It's not defending drunk driving. Drunk driving's bad. Brittany's going to say drunk driving's bad.
possible. But not only Dream, George's second best friend Sapnap put out a tweet saying this. First things first, I want to say that I support Katie, and I think it's incredibly brave to come out and share your story in front of everyone, and I hope you're taking care of yourself and are doing well. Incredible.
Interesting. Like, he can't understand it. He has like very low empathy, maybe? Interesting. Well, maybe he doesn't know how to empathize. So who's he empathizing with? Is there any empathy in this video? Have we seen any display of empathy? Has he connected with anyone's story? Oh, interesting.
See how you feel if you ever know somebody dies because of drunk driving. Ha 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 ha. You've got dead family. Ha ha ha. Adam L, you've got dead family. Ha ha ha.
I don't know why anybody wanted me to watch this. Colleen says, I'm curious why people wanted you to react to this. I don't know. But I will say it's interesting that he doesn't connect with anyone in the story. So he doesn't understand Dream. He doesn't understand the other friend. He doesn't understand George. He doesn't understand Katie. What does this kid understand? His
no one cares about your fucking trauma. Nobody gives a fuck. No one's changing their opinions on things according to your fucking trauma. Nobody cares. Please, go literally anywhere else online. Please.
The bus. Like, George and all of them did not throw... George and Dream and everybody did not throw him under the bus. Like... That's not what happened. You can support Katie and support George. I'm supporting Katie and George at the same time. It's not that hard. It was obviously a miscommunication. You know what I mean? Like, it's obviously a miscommunication. I
like spurging here, then go for it.
Katie is 19 and stupid and misunderstood the situation. She's fucking stunted. It happens. George is 26 and stupid. He's obviously stunted and he misconstrued the situation. It happens. It's like, obviously, like, I'm on both their sides. As an old person, as the dignified old person in the group, let me just tell you, bros. This is life. Life is messy. You're gonna fuck up. You know?
Incredibly brave. This girl's trying to destroy your best friend's life over nothing. And this is what you say? Because of this, I waited before—
Yeah, these are good people. George and Dream and all those people who understand that they can support Katie and George, those are good people. I think people who chose sides, people who chose Katie's side or people who chose George's side, I don't trust any of you fuckers. I don't trust any of the fuckers that fully think Katie or George is a bad person. I don't trust any of you fuckers with nothing.
I don't trudge.
You're so fucking blinded by your bias. If you think literally, ma'am.
Before commenting to organize my thoughts, and after seeing all of the facts, it is very clear that Katie is a victim.
She misspoke. Brittany lost. Whole video in the bin. Whole video. Sorry, Brittany. Sorry, I know you made the 2-hour video. I know you think you made good points here. You misspoke at the 1 hour and 28 minutes and 15 seconds mark. Brittany, you're owned.
Everyone should support her and stand by her 100%. What? What facts have you seen exactly? And how in your investigation did you not notice that George proved this girl to be a complete liar? These have got to be the worst two friends in the fucking world.
I don't know. I think I always thought that our friendship is just like really genuine. So I think that's one of the biggest things that we have like a bunch.
Who is this? Is this Dream? Who is this? This man looked different every time I see him. Who is this man?
Bunch of genuine friendships.
Oh, is this Snapchat or whatever? Sapnap? And
we're actually just, we are just genuinely having fun with each other.
Okay, hold on. Because of this, I'm waiting for a comment. After seeing the facts, it's clear.
I just think it's insane that George Not Found, that Dream turned on George Not Found after they did this.
Subscribe. I don't know. Groom, I want you in my room, but only if you're 16, can't have you if you're 18. Groom, I want you in my room, but only if you're 16, can't have you if you're 18.
That's epic. That's freaking. And JJK opening lined up next. It just knows me. It knows me.
Katie's a victim and everyone should support her. Say it by here. I'm really upset as I love George.
Real Smith super chatted $5. People who groom minors are just not skilled enough to groom adults.
Smith is kind of spitting there.
He's my best friend and there's no way around the fact that he fucked up and needs to take accountability for what happened. I don't think George is a bad person. I don't think he had evil.
No, they're not like ICP or Hollywood Undead. No, no. I don't know what the modern ICP or Hollywood Undead would be. God, what would that be now? Thank you for the $2.99, Abby. Thank you. What would be ICP or Hollywood Undead now? What would be the comparison? I don't know if... Yeah, there probably isn't one. Then yeah, they're more like Neo One Direction. Yeah. It's Neo boy bands. It's Zuma boy bands. No, this is Zuma. They're a Zuma boy band. That's what all the Wilbur and Dream and George shit is. They're not like Hollywood Undead or ICP. I feel like the last closest thing to ICP or Hollywood Undead was XXX Tentacion. I feel like he was the last one that was like the closest comparison. That shit sucked, by the way. If you were into that shit.
Intentions, but it doesn't matter if your actions cause pain. Okay, yeah. George apologized as he should have.
Dude,
yeah, this is great.
tell
What
me.
are you talking about? This is a great
Tell
fucking
me.
message. Oh my God. No wonder y'all don't have friends because you think your friends can't love you and say like what you did was shitty.
But that's the issue, is that he didn't do anything shitty.
Who is this man?
Bunch of genuine friendships.
Oh, is this Snapchat or whatever? Sapnap?
And we're actually
No reasonable adult would say that George did something shitty.
we are just genuinely having fun with each other.
Okay, hold on. Because of this, I'm waiting for a comment. After seeing the facts, it's clear that Katie's a victim and everyone should support her. Say it by here. I'm really upset as I love.
Like, after seeing all the facts, it is clear that Katie's a victim. Like, that's an insane thing to say, given the situation.
George, he's my best friend, and there's no way around the fact that he fucked up and needs to take accountability for what happened. I don't think George is a bad person. I don't think he had evil intentions, but it doesn't matter if your actions cause pain. Okay, yeah. George apologized as he should have. Yeah, this is great. What are you talking about? This is a great fucking message. Oh my God.
No, it's not.
No wonder y'all don't have friends because you think your friends can't love you and say like what you did was shitty. Okay, this is beautiful. This is like great. Sapnap, George, Dream, all of them. They're like the trio, the three amigos. No, this is beautiful. This is a great message.
How is it a great message to put out to say if you have a slight move made on you after an hour of cuddling at a party, you're a victim? That's not a great message to put out, Brittany. That's not a great message to put out.
Katie was obviously hurt. That sucks. Obviously, George didn't want to do that to her. Katie needs to understand it's authentic and real, and two things can be true at once. Genuinely, ooh, the internet's so dumb. No, these people are good people. They know what's up.
And I think that's what people like.
So his two best friends fucked him over completely. He's lost hundreds of thousands of
Yeah, I thought Brittany knew all the logs way better than everyone else. How come she didn't know that one?
Followers on all platforms. Mr. Beast took him out of his ad campaign, and numerous other creators have come out in support of Katie, dogpiling him, destroying his reputation.
Yeah, but like lots of people came out in favor, George's favor too. Obviously, this is a video's 3 days old, but it's too biased. Like he doesn't know.
All over
it's too biased.
The Phantom Tummy Tickle.
Man.
How is this video only 3 days old and he doesn't have all the facts? Why does he keep calling it the tummy tickle? Why does he keep calling it that?
I mean, well, because I think because it's funny, but it wasn't a tummy tickle. It wasn't a tummy tickle. He tried moving. He tried groping. He moved for a grope. His hands. Well, yeah, there were tummy tickles. There were tickles. He was tickling to make her lose the phone game. However, it moved towards a grope. There was hand movement under the bra, I believe, was confirmed.
What's even worse is Katie literally says,
Towards
don't
the
go to the
area.
cops. Like, bro, that's a huge slap in the face of SA victims and survivors. See, I don't trust these people. Why would you go to the cops? So they can ignore your testing and not help you? That's what I mean. These people think they know what's happening in the world, but they don't. I think people saying, like, Katie's the reason people don't believe real victims. You know why people don't believe real victims? Because people don't think their best friends are rapists. You know? Katie Bugs is ruining the chances for actual victims to have their voices heard. She's not, though, because you don't even believe real victims anyways. You don't even believe victims of SA. Like, I don't know why you're acting like you believe people were raped, bro. Statistics show way otherwise. So interesting.
It must be everyone else who's crazy. Yeah, I draw around.
Days old, but it's too biased. Like he
distracted.
doesn't know.
All over the phantom tummy tickle.
How is this video only 3 days old and he doesn't have all the facts? Why does he keep calling it the tummy tickle? Why does he keep calling it that? What's even worse is Katie literally says, don't go to the cops. Like, bro, that's a huge slap in the face of SA victims and survivors. See, I don't trust these people. Why would you go to the cops? So they can ignore your testing and not help you? That's what I mean. These people think they know what's happening in the world, but they don't. I think people saying, like, Katie's the reason people don't believe real victims. You know why people don't believe real victims? Because people don't think their best friends are rapists. You know? Katie Bugs is ruining the chances for actual victims to have their voices heard. She's not, though, because you don't even believe real victims anyways. You don't even believe victims of SA. Like, I don't know why you're acting like you believe people were raped, bro. Statistics show way otherwise. So
That's
interesting.
fine.
Yeah, this video's cringe, bro.
Dude, this has got to be the greatest cancellation story of all time.
Boots kind of spitting here. These women need to go to their mothers. Look at who went to their mother in recent dramas. Joga Conroy, whose mother solved it.
And I would, for example, tickle her.
But the two main notable creators who I think had the best coverage on this are Max GG's with just about 100k followers and Aimsy with over 1 million. Starting with my British cousin.
My friend!
He puts out a tweet saying, "Rotten hell, you fucking piece of shit. I saw how you ruined my friend's life. Nobody should feel sympathy in whatever lies you're going to spout with your stupid PR team backing you, you buffoon. I wish you and your little freak friends who are complacent in abuse the worst lives ever. You are all fucking horrible and your content sucks dick. Rotten hell for assaulting my friend, George. And plus, I make better Minecraft videos than you. This one's probably my personal favorite."
A little candy cane.
Fucking Dan sending me this shit again. Fine, I'll play it. I'll play it. I'll play it. Fine, I'll play it.
Influencer,
It's not loading.
but she was under the influencer, but it's just
It's not. I can't. It's not loading.
The share. Yes. There's actually only this much.
That works.
Max, you're fucking gay.
But thank God he gave us the live stream version of this, making for the best thing to come out of this entire situation.
This is a fact. What I'm about to tell you is a fact, not something that you.
We got the. I do want to play it, but it's just. How about 360p? How
Just
about then?
wrong. It's fucking wrong.
There we go.
They're trying to use their platform to make this narrative like Katie's mind changed. Somebody changed Katie's mind after the fucking assault to make them look bad. I was there 3 weeks after Katie was assaulted by George for 4 fucking weeks or whatever, and she cried in my fucking arms. This 19-year-old girl, 18-year-old girl, she cried in my fucking arms because of what you did, George found. I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. No one had changed her mind. No one. This is a fucking horrible thing to have happen to her. And to try and use me, my friends, or anybody else as a scapegoat for your fucking sexual abuse is disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. okay? My friend cried in my fucking arms about this, and you're on stream denying it all, denying the fucking hurt that you caused to her. You are disgusting fucking people. You and all of your abuse sympathizer friends, you are all fucking horrible. Seriously, you are so wrong for trying to displace this fucking sexual assault onto anyone but yourselves. You are a 26-year-old man.
Guys,
27.
it's AI overlaid onto the actual guy. I don't know who's trolling at this point. I actually don't know. It's this guy with my face AI'd on and my voice kind of a mask on the voice.
God, he gave us the live stream version of this, making for the best thing to come out of this entire situation.
This is a fact.
It's this.
A fact, not something that you can create an argument.
I don't know who's trolling at this
there,
point.
and she cried in my fucking arms. This 19-year-old girl, 18-year-old girl, she cried in my fucking arms because of what you did, George Not Found. And to try and use me, my friends, or anybody else as a scapegoat for your fucking sexual abuse is disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. My friend cried in my fucking arms about this, and you're on stream denying it all, denying the fucking hurt that you caused to her. You and all of your abuse sympathizer friends, you are all fucking horrible. You are a 26-year-old man, 27 now, trying to fucking put the blame on 18-year-olds that you don't fucking know. What the fuck is wrong with you? You are
Man, Myron's looking very white today. Yo, Myron's looking
Brittany won.
hella white today, bro. Damn. Yeah, Alice says, what's with men yelling today? Yo, we've watched so many men yell. He's so sweet. He intends so much. Like, this guy obviously, like, was impacted by Katie crying in his arms. And that's, you know, that's good. That's, like, good, you know, empathy and all that. But also, oh, man, that's a lot.
Is it empathy, though? Is this empathy? Is that what or is this weaponization? Or is this weaponization?
You a serious criminal and a
see how he's not a serious criminal though? That's my problem.
Yeah. Strange that, isn't it, Brittany? See how George is not? George is not a serial criminal? George not a serial. But crazy how that's the case. Crazy how these people are like saying things that are like obviously not true to anyone that's thought about it for like 2 seconds.
Problem with this bubble. It's not a serious crime to touch someone's boob unconsensually. I don't know if you guys know that. Like, it's not actually a serious crime. You know what's a serious crime? Like murdering someone. Like raping someone. That's pretty serious. I feel like touching someone's boob is like not serious. A crime. But it is serious social faux pas. And we should talk about that, maybe, depending on the bubble.
She's so, dude, her phrasing is so bad.
girl cried in my arms because of what you did. Weeks later, Show loads of love to Katie. Go and watch her vlogs. They're so fucking good. They're so good. These are timeless videos. Timeless. These are the only videos.
He's a kid, bro. These are kids. They're all kids. I'm watching kids. Why am I watching kids? Who sent me this video?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously, no, she's not, nothing she said was wrong. What she said was not wrong. It's just so, like, it's inflammatory phrased, as everything she says is. She is just incredibly, she knows what she's doing. She's deliberately pissing people off. Touching someone's boob is not a serious crime. Like, a serious crime is, like, something you're gonna get a lot of prison time for. Like, what's the maximum sentence for, like, a grope that you're gonna get, really? Probably no sentence in like 99% of cases. It's probably never even going to be reported to the police.
Why'd you guys spam this in my comments? Oh my god. He's 18, this one? Oh, they're all babies, bro. They don't even know. This is something that they're not even going to remember in 20 years, or they will remember it, but it'll be like, oh, remember that shit we did when we were 18? Cringe. Like, this is, oh yeah, okay.
I feel like I could show my children. These are so fucking incredible. Fully. She is an incredible storyteller, incredible filmmaker, incredible person.
Like, what's the point of life? I was disassociating.
These are timeless videos. Timeless.
That edit was too funny, bro. I fucking hate this kid, bro. It's too funny.
These are the only videos I feel like I could show my children. These are so
Yes, I'm pro smoking, pro drink driving, pro groping, pro. I'm just that's comedy. That's comedy. Just to be clear, I don't endorse any of those things. Those are all bad for your health, yourself, and the people around you. Just to be clear. Just to be clear for YouTube. Okay.
Fucking incredible. I understand that many people are angry at my friend group, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. I have never given a fuck about any hate that I receive. That video of you crying is hilarious. Thank you. I think it's so funny that my friend.
What do you mean by pro
was sexually
smoking?
assaulted.
Do I think people should smoke? No, that's an individual choice. Am I anti-smoking legislation? Kinda.
And I stood up for her, and you think that's funny? Fucking, you are a sick in the head. Go fuck yourself. Anyways.
Yeah, that's kind of it. That's all I wanted to show for him. But now Amesy, with her huge following, made this tweet before George even released his first response.
She's autistic. A lot of these people are autistic. I need this to be so clear in y'all's head because I know there's the mean autist and then there's like sense of justice autists, and even mean autists have a deep sense of justice. Like I know the audience.
Now Larix is autistic.
For Think Before You Sleep, I could feel their autistic sense of justice.
That's true. That's true. That's true. She's spitting there for real. Yes. Yes, that Think Before You Sleep channel. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. This whole thing. This shit. Yeah. Yeah. No, don't you understand? I'm actually helping you. Here's a breakdown of why you're so fat. Yeah.
Feel it. Like I really am trying not to focus on mean autistic boys, but they're really suffering because they have a sense of justice just like nice autists, but they're mean. So like people look at them and hope they die, but they don't know why people want that because they're mean. But also their sense of justice is so clear to me. Like they're like, we want to help. We want to help. And I'm like, I know you want to help, but you're fucking making it worse. How am I making it worse? Same thing with Ames.
Unlike Brittany, who prescribes suicide to certain people who have a lack of introspection. Okay.
Seen all these people. I watched some interviews with her, and like she obviously, first of all, autistic, but obviously wants to help. But her sense of justice is like
the $300 1 hour coaching sessions. Those are what are really that's what's really making a difference. The level system is really making a difference.
definitely skewing
Listen
her
up, Bobby.
perception, which is normal. I mean, think about religious people that think all trans people are groomers. Like, why do they think that? It's not that they just hate trans people. They literally want to protect children. The road to hell is paved with your good fucking intentions. Stop having such good intentions for the world. Okay?
Huh?
Do you know if any of them are diagnosed?
Huh?
Ainsley is diagnosed. I think Dream is diagnosed with ADHD. And the rest,
This is not just. I fear this is not just. This is not just an attack on White Boy Swag at this point. I fear this is an attack on Yagami males at this point. I'm worried. I'm seriously concerned that the battle is expanding here and that Brittany is trying to attack Yagami males.
Stafrex super chatted $9.99. Lady Justice may be blind, but she isn't fooled. Consent isn't a game, especially with intoxication. She discerns truth in each case, beyond mere claims made afterward. Shy.
Thank you, Topher, for the $10. Thank you. Thank you. This is absolutely what this is feeling like. If you're a smart young guy like Larix here, yes, I will call Larix smart. Okay, he has a few mistakes here and there with his Discord and his screen capture. If you're a smart young guy trying to make a better world, she hates you. I'm white.
I think they are pretty sure they have it. I don't know if they are officially diagnosed.
Saying silence is not consent. It will never be consent. I hope you understand whatever bullshit response you and your PR team magically come up with, it will never take back the hurt you've caused on someone who was young.
Lyrics won't fuck
should have
you.
been
I
safe
just,
in your
I
space
like
as
Lyrics.
a 20
Lyrics gets undue hate from a lot of people, I think, personally. Especially around here. I mean, he's also really popular, so I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck about what you guys think. But I disagree with what you guys are saying.
6-year-old man, literally saying that there's nothing you can do. You are instantly deemed guilty, and there's
When I'll tell you a fucking cringe story. You want to hear this story? I hate this story. Oh, I hate this story. In hindsight, you're like, what the fuck were you thinking? When I was, how old would I have been? 24? 17,
Okay,
18,
here we
19,
go.
20, 21. Oh, 21? Oh, that makes more sense. 24, I was in Seattle. When I was like 21, that makes sense. So 21, when I was a year older than this Justin Bieber kid, okay? When I was 21, when I was younger than George, I had my first adult friend group out of high school. I was like bullied out of high school. And I ended up in talk radio spaces and Republican spaces because I was like a conservative. And I went to this meetup with a bunch of libertarians and conservatives and all these other people. And this is like a billion years ago, okay? This is way before terminology like progressive ever came out, okay? And that's how I identify now. But like politically speaking, you know. Okay, so I'm in this space. I'm meeting these people. We're having a great time. And one of the guys in the group is like 12 years older. He's great. He's Christian. He's a virgin. He's interesting. He's aggressive. He's like a bear. He's a teacher. He's interesting. You know, he's attractive. Something about him is just like very dominating.
Why did
like,
you delete that
he's
message?
very confident. And even his virginity was attractive because he was so confident. And oh, I lied. I said he was 12 years older. That's a lie. He was 7 years older than me. My bad. He
Yeah.
was 28 at the time. 28, 29.
You deleted, for some reason, you just deleted Vicky's message saying, really?
Almost 28, 29, 30, depending on what era I'm talking about. But let's say at this age, 28, 29. Okay. So we're having this really, this friendship. It's great. It's blossoming. He was somebody that I considered maybe having sex with for my first. I was 22 when I lost my virginity. I decided not to say yes to him. In my gut of guts, I was like, something doesn't feel right about this guy. But I liked him. He was my friend. I found out later that he was definitely hoeing around and sleeping with a lot of people, not telling anybody else so he could sleep with other people.
Wait, sorry, what's
Friendship,
this?
it's great. He was 7 years older than me. My bad. He was 28 at the time. 28, 29. Almost 28, 29, 30, depending on what era I'm talking about. But let's say at this age, 28, 29. Okay. So we're having this really, this friendship. It's great. It's blossoming. He was somebody that I considered maybe having sex with for my first. I was 22 when I lost my virginity. I decided not to say yes to him. In my gut of guts, I was like, something
Okay,
doesn't
so this feel okay. I am starting to. I don't take Brittany's life advice. I'm very quickly realizing that she's had a very stunted development. You're considering losing your virginity at 22. This is not how most people are operating. This is how most Minecraft YouTubers are operating. Sorry. Yeah, you're out of touch.
feel right about this guy. But I liked him. He was my friend. I found out later that he was definitely hoeing around and sleeping with a lot of people, not telling anybody else so he could sleep with other people. And he was definitely unsafe.
I just don't think that Brittany gets to make statements on Lyric's maturity at 20 when her conception is so fried. Like her concept of what a 20-year-old is based on her experience, it seems like it's going to be so fried. Like if everything she says is right, well, you grow up in your bubbles. You grow up in your bubbles.
A lot of things ended up coming out about him, but one thing that should have been so clear to me at the time, and I didn't get it, and now in hindsight, it's like so clearly bad, but I just didn't get it, okay, is I took my 17-year-old sister to come hang out with us, my friends and I, and drink and have fun. And it was like a normal thing. Like, why not? Like, go have fun, party, it'll be fun. He hit on my sister. And all of us were like, oh my God, you're being so cringe. And we were all just like making jokes about it. And my sister was like, not thinking much about it. I didn't think much about it. Even though I was like, hey, she's like a minor, like back off. I also didn't think he would do anything, and he didn't. But he was flirting with her. And that should have been enough. It was the fact that he was nearly 30, flirting with a high schooler he knew, and he was a high school teacher. So a high school teacher, in hindsight, this is so obvious. Like, it is so fucking obvious now. When I think about it, like, what? What were we thinking? So in hindsight, obviously this was bad. But obviously, like, at the time, we just didn't think about it because what was there to think about, right? Like, it just didn't stick out as a weird thing. So now all these years later, the last time I saw this guy as like a friendship, the last time I saw him, it was really awkward. And I asked him, he like caught him in lies and unsafe sex and all these things. But the one thing he told me that made me go, holy fuck, you're like a bad person. But like, according to my morals and values. Now he's much older. Many years have passed. He's like in his mid-30s, having unprotected sex. He tells me about one of his students. He's living in Europe at the time, so different rules. It's legal, sort of. One of his students is into him. And he's like, I can't believe she's into me, bro. Like, she's like 17. And I was like, yeah, but she's your student, so absolutely not. And at this time, I was a progressive. At this time, I was in Seattle. At this time, I was much more liberal. And I was like, yeah, you definitely can't fuck with your students, bro. And he goes, yeah, but when she turns 18, it doesn't matter. Plus, the age of consent in, I think, Italy, I don't remember where he was like, is way lower. It's like 14, 15. So he's like, yeah, but like, you know, if she wasn't one of my students, it would be legal. And I was like, but you're in your mid-30s and she's a teenager. Why are you even entertaining this? And he was like, well, why not? And I was like, why are you entertaining this? And he's like, it's legal. And I was like, and now in hindsight, it's so much clearer now where I'm like, oh, you just like have a, you're inappropriate. Like, sir,
Wait. Okay. 17, possibly a bit close to the line, especially if you're 28. That's like a bit fucking, that is a bit weird. However, how does this line up with your bubble shit? How does this line up with your, this doesn't seem to make sense with your, he's saying he's Italian or some shit, right? His cultural standard is that that's acceptable. Okay, 17 is a huge, 1728 is a huge red flag, though maybe not illegal in every territory. That's what I'm saying. This is not respecting his bubble. This is not respecting his bubble. Teacher-student relationships, fuck it, we bought. Well, but it wasn't teacher-student, was it? But it wasn't teacher. That was his point. That was his argument, no? Wait, was it? Did I miss something? I thought he said, I thought she wasn't his student.
Yeah, but she's your student, so absolutely not. And at this time, I was a progressive sort of.
Wait, oh, okay, this is a new one. Oh, this is a new, this isn't about her sister. Oh, okay, this switched. Sorry, I missed the switch. This is about a student.
Morals and
okay, let's hear this bit.
Now he's much older. Many years have passed. He's like in his mid-30s, having unprotected sex. He tells me about one of his students. He's living in Europe at the time, so different rules. It's legal, sort of. One of his students.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed a few details here. Okay. So I'm assuming he's an American that is now living in Europe. Okay.
Is into him. And he's like, I can't believe she's into me, bro. Like, she's like 17. And I was like, yeah, but she's your student, so absolutely not. And at this time, I was a progressive. At this time, I was in Seattle. At this time, I was much more liberal. And I was like, yeah, you definitely can't fuck with your students, bro. And he goes, yeah, but when she turns 18, it doesn't matter. Plus, the age of consent in, I think, Italy, I don't remember where he was like, is way lower. It's like 14, 15. So he's like, yeah, but like, you know, if she wasn't one of my students, it would be.
Oh, yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, if you know, okay, yeah. If you know your students when they're like 16, 17, and then they leave school at 18, and then you fuck them, that's like grooming. That's, well, it's not, you didn't necessarily groom, because that's like specific actions that are taken, but that is like, that's close enough to where that probably shouldn't be allowed because there's too much room for exploitation.
Be legal. And I was like, but you're in your mid-30s and she's a teenager. Why are you even entertaining this? And he was like, well, why not? And I was like, why are you entertaining this? And he's like, it's legal. And I was like, and now in hindsight, it's so much clearer.
Because you were in a position of power over this person. From an age where we would all agree that they couldn't make judgments about who to sleep with, and that creates room for you to manipulate and influence at a crucial stage in order to essentially, that's preparing them for a sexual relationship. If that person takes those actions, and you shouldn't allow the relationship because purely the setup allows for too much room for exploitation.
Now, where I'm like, oh, you just like have a, you're inappropriate. Like,
what if they taught you PE once, no other contact? Well, then it probably isn't the case that they actually groomed, but you would still not allow the relationship on the basis that you set the rule to avoid situations, right? Because there's no reason. How many, don't fuck your students, don't fuck your past students, you're not excluding a huge amount from your dating pool there. That isn't a hard rule to follow. And it's a pretty, I don't know, that's just like, those aren't wires that should be crossed.
You are in
helping raise children and then having sex with them. This probably isn't. I think we can all agree that's probably bad.
And then that was it. Our friendship broke up. We never talked again. And that was the end. I don't even know if he's dead. Like, I don't know anything about him. But to this day, it all comes back to you. Like, all the mistakes you make in life, you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't I say something? Why didn't I think that was weird? Because you don't. Like, you're in the situation. You're not thinking about it. And then you realize, like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, all of this to say, now...
But that being said, I don't know how this fits in with her bubble stuff. I don't know how this isn't compatible with the bubble stuff, I don't feel like. Because this guy seems to believe she wants it, isn't going to fuck her when she's a kid, isn't drugging her, and he's saying it's legal, so I'm not going to be held accountable for it. So it doesn't need to be held accountable by society. So according to her previously given definition of sexual assault, all of that stuff, that would be fine, right? That would be consensual if he did that.
Now we have all of this information, all of these conversations happening, and all of this wisdom. We're just figuring it out. And there's so many mistakes along the way that are going to be made. Look, I have a deep fear I'm going to let another one of those creepers...
Any moral stance fucks with her system. She's, yeah.
...walk by me, and I'm not going to recognize them. I am constantly terrified of that. But I want to make sure I'm also being very rational and reasonable, and I'm really being objective, even though objectivity is very hard to find because we're also subjective. We're seeing everything through our perception.
Yeah.
It's hard for humans to be objective. I would say impossible. Because it's very difficult for us to know unless we know ourselves and everybody involved. So again, I tell you this to say, it's not as easy as you think, but as you get older, it will be easier. And even then, you'll want to make sure you're not just accusing someone of being malicious, whether it's a malicious victim or a malicious predator. Caitlin says, bro, full-grown adult and high school relationships are kind of normalized in media. Bro, absolutely. Seth Rogen in Pineapple Express is 25 dating a high schooler. Kiss, what's it called with Drew Barrymore?
Thank you for the membership, Sleepy. Thank you.
Kiss me. What is it called? She's literally a student at the school and the teacher falls for her, but oh, surprise, she's actually a journalist who's undercover, end of age. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of crazy, bro. Anyways, all of this to say, okay, it's not as easy and simple as you think. But I know we process it that way because we like to think I would know what to do if I was in that situation. Maybe.
There's nothing you could do to stop it. You guys thought Nick is Not Green was bad for his super mega coverage? Welcome to the fucking Minecraft community.
This is not some petty drama. This is not some Twitter thing. I'm not putting my voice into drama that is just a stupid little thing that's gonna blow over tomorrow. This is abuse. There are victims involved in this, and you guys are treating it like it's Twitter drama. It's not. This is a serious thing. It is a crime. It is a bad thing. I swear to God, there's some people online that could watch someone literally murder someone, and they'd be like, oh, wow.
That does happen, though. Actually, people will watch someone get...
Well, yeah, they will, but this isn't a point to be making about this situation.
And they won't do anything about it. Like, humans are animals, dude. We don't think. We'll watch someone literally get assaulted and
it's not relevant here. That's not relevant here. It is true, but not relevant.
We don't want to risk our lives. Like, human beings are not black and white. It is very difficult to know what is true, what isn't true, what is a crime, what isn't a crime. What does it matter if it's a crime? Does it even matter? What are your values? What are your morals?
Now he's getting cancelled?
You can only pray and hope that these people end up getting accused one day as well and have to deal with the same standards they pushed onto other people. You know, guilty until proven.
Okay, not impressed says that was out of context. That was for Wilbur, not George, though. Okay, I thought so. I was so confused why they were showing that clip because I was like, I thought this was before. Okay, wait. I think you're right. I think you're right. Can anyone else confirm that? Because I actually do think you're right. I thought when I looked up Amesley, that was the only clip I found, but it was before the allegation, so I was confused about who that was about. I didn't think that was about George. Because if that's about Wilbur, Wilbur's hella, like, he got problems, bro. For sure. Super toxic. I don't know if it's a crime. Like, I don't know if he needs to go to prison, but he definitely needs some fucking therapy.
There was not even any. Was there even any evidence against Wilbur, or was it just Shelby Shubble saying it went past the safe word, and then Wilbur said, "Hey, I've been to therapy for some issues, but nondescript."
I'm actually starting to think I'm on the spectrum, but the high functioning side. My views on everything from conversation to relationships were far too complicated when I was younger, bro. Things feel so much clearer.
There was like one photo of Shelby Shubble where people saying that fucking you could see bruises or something, I think. But I don't remember that being conclusive at all. I don't remember being convinced that there were bruises. It was like a really not good.
Clearer when I look at everyone in this space as autistic or neurodivergent, because I'm like, this is why everyone's so black and white and full of justice and just can't think past their own fucking nose, but also mean well, but also, oh my God.
An innocent is going to be a real bitch to deal with when it comes around to you. In a world of cruelty, you can be kind. Look after yourselves.
March 10th, 2024. Okay.
Good guy, AMZ.
Crime!
And these are supposed to be the good guys in this situation too. Destroying this guy's career and life for literally nothing. And they won. Like, George now for forever will have these...
She's about to have an episode.
Accusations following him for the rest of his life.
It's not that deep. They won't. He'll get over it. Chris Brown still makes music. Everybody relax.
Anytime you search his name, he's always going to have sexual assault allegations for the...
AMZ did make a stream about Wilbur yelling at him the same day Shelby did hers. Okay, Wilbur is also autistic. Speaking of MC players and autism pipeline, I believe it. Man, the autism is so real. Yeah, that was for Wilbur, and yes, Wilbur is more guilty than George. Oh,
everyone else autistic and young. Oh man.
But also therapy.
I wish I
don't think
could.
prison time is going to help people. I don't believe in prisons.
Have
I only
this
believe in
woman's
prisons
mindset.
for the absolutely like unable to rehabilitate people, and they still think we should treat them with kindness and dignity. Just because someone's an asshole doesn't mean you need to be. So I mean, you know, sometimes it's fun though. But I will say Wilbur needs like some intensive therapy and some proper diagnoses, and yeah, I mean Shelby needs therapy. Everyone needs therapy.
rest of his online
What?
life, career.
Shelby needs therapy. Everyone needs therapy. So almost made a statement about something there and then changed it to be totally vapid and everyone is okay. Thank you,
He wants to
Brittany.
interact
Thank
with
you.
a girl in the future. She's gonna be able to Google his name and
Yeah, but like it's not gonna matter, bro. Like she'll just read the story and decide on her own. And also, like at this point, everyone's gonna have an accusation against them. Who's a public figure? It's like really, you gotta get over it.
find out that he's been accused of sexual assault before. It's exactly what happened with Dream.
And I don't believe all people who accuse people of sexual assault should be held to the same standard, because I do think some people are doing it because they really are having an experience. I think it's different when it's like malicious and vindictive and slander, and when it's someone who really thought they had an experience.
I don't think anyone disagrees.
I
with
also
this.
don't think it's the same kind of crime. I think it's a different crime. So I don't think, like, I don't believe an eye for an eye. I think you should be appropriate, and I think appropriateness is a spectrum, right?
If not worse, it's the same situation.
Larry doesn't disagree with us at all. He just thinks that she is being malicious.
A few months apart. But you know, it's hard to show that much sympathy to Dream or really anyone else, everyone in this whole Minecraft community, because of the way they go about handling these situations. All of this lately has completely brought to light that this whole Minecraft scene is full of complete rats and snakes that will
He would know. He's ratty himself, bro. This boy a rat too, I can tell.
throw even their closest friends under the bus if it means that it helps
Nah. This guy's way too much like Myron, where he wants like blind loyalty and he doesn't hold his friends accountable. This guy would never hold his friends accountable. They stood by George. George agreed. That's what I'm saying. He's not listening to George. George apologized to Katie, which was appropriate. And he still said,
Saying
I didn't
Larry's just rubbing his hands together.
intend to do this. I'm sorry it was read that way. That's reasonable, right? This guy right here, this guy, not Dream, the guy who's talking, Justin Bieber, nah, he's blind loyalty guy.
Oh,
Him
it's
and Myron
over.
should get married.
Restore the
No,
public
it's over. He's
reputation.
not blind loyalty guy. He just doesn't think George did anything wrong, so he doesn't think there was any reason for Dream to condemn his friend.
Socially. All of
Like,
them are in
that-
desperate hope.
It's not blind loyalty if you think there was nothing that was done wrong. Blind loyalty is like you think something's done wrong and you say they should still stand by the person. That's blind loyalty. Not this person did nothing wrong, so why are you condemning them? That's not blind loyalty.
Hope to not get eaten by their audience, and they'll do anything.
It's not. It's about morals and values. If you
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're delusional. You're actually tripping. You're actually delusional. If you think Dream gives a fuck about morals and values when he's making a public response to drama, you are delusional.
you didn't intend to hurt someone and you hurt someone, you should apologize.
Oh, Rerix is right.
And then they should move the fuck on. If they
I don't know how much I've got to cover off this. We might do a couple freaks, and then I might read.
don't move the fuck on, that's the shitty part. If you hurt someone and you didn't mean to, you should be like, hey, I really love you. I do not want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. So we got to figure out how to move past this. And then if they can. But if they don't let it go and they don't move on, they're the shit person because they're not doing their end of the bargain. Because you can't hold people accountable for things they didn't intend to do. You can't. It makes no fucking sense. Okay? This is what I learned in therapy. My parents carried on generational curses because they were given generational curses. I can't hold them accountable. I can only ask them to be aware of the ways they've impacted me. They apologize. I accept. Doesn't change the fact that I have trauma. Now I get to deal with the trauma, right? Which in remission, 4 years, borderline, depression, anxiety. 4 years, baby. No sadness. Let's go. Sorry, no depression. Let's go. Sadness is different. Sadness is an emotion. It comes and goes. But the point is I had to accept that my parents
She's
needed to
cured.
accept.
It's a
that
miracle.
We are going to impact each other because we all have issues. And then it's our jobs to move the fuck on once somebody has acknowledged it in a real way. Because everyone is holding generational curses inside them. And then we have to like live our whole life with all of this trauma. And then we have to dismantle it. And everyone has it on a different spectrum.
To make sure that doesn't happen. And this is why you can make the argument that a certain amount of this is deserved, because they all
Larix is supposed to be watching this tonight. He's supposed to be watching this tonight. I might after end stream I might get something to eat and I might see if he wants to talk about it at some point.
Oh, Monolith says he should sue her for slander. Absolutely not. That's not going to clear his name. That's
I
not
would there's nothing I want more than for Larix to talk to Brittany. I want Larix to talk to Brittany so bad. I think that'd be so funny, man.
what works, and it would be cruel to do that to a 19-year-old who did not intend to do this. And George is not going to be hurt forever over these accusations.
They should
Chris Brown
box.
still has a job.
Part in feeding this
Brittany would
monster
win, let's be
audience.
honest, okay?
No, Katie needs to understand
Brittany
the
will probably
context
beat
of the
me. Brittany will probably beat me boxing. She probably actually works out.
and actually hurt her. No, George hurt Katie. You cannot take away the fact that George hurt Katie. He just didn't mean to hurt Katie. Just like when your parents punish you as a child, they didn't mean to hurt you. They thought they were helping you, or they thought it was okay, but it obviously was the bad decision to make. People can hurt you without meaning to
Dude,
hurt
Brittany
you.
would mollywop
So
Larix.
George hurt Katie, which he apologized for without meaning to. Katie has to learn that he really didn't mean to hurt her. George already admitted to hurting Katie. George literally said, "I'm sorry, Katie, I hurt you." Cool. Thanks, George. We appreciate that. Katie, he didn't mean to do it. The problem is as far as we know, Katie might still believe George intended to hurt her. But George did hurt Katie. He admitted to it. You guys don't understand the nuance of what it means to be a person because you're so convinced this is black and white. George already admitted he hurt her. All of the guys admitted it. It's okay. Sometimes we hurt people. Now we have to learn to get past it and not repeat actions and prevent it in the future. How did he hurt her exactly? Sir, you need to watch all the videos I've made about this. I don't know how you missed the story.
Prize when it comes
Go watch George's video, bro.
to them when it's their time to pay the tax. Perpetually enabling this behavior to keep it going, forever calling out other people for the smallest, most insignificant things, trying to destroy their career over nothing at all. And you know, this is gonna happen until it eats everyone. Even George, I didn't harp on it too much, but this guy was pretty pathetic throughout this whole entire situation. I mean, he would bend the knee multiple times and apologize way too much.
Because he's a human with empathy and he cares about people. See how they're making fun of George for caring? They are miscategorizing Katie, and because they don't understand Katie, they keep assuming she's someone she's not, and they're putting an image on her that just isn't true. Listen to George, he's the victim. Listen to Katie, she is the victim. Listen to the two people involved, and nobody's doing that. They're just picking a side because it pushes.
No, it's important to listen to the people involved to get the information and the facts. That does not mean you have to accept their interpretation of the events. That does not mean you have to accept their values and their moral judgment. That's not what that means, Brittany. You do not, and you don't have to listen to their prescriptions. You don't have to. If Dreamer says be nice to Katie, that does not mean you have to be nice to Katie. You can actually be mean to Katie. If Katie says be nice to George, that doesn't mean you have to be nice to George. You can actually be mean to George. You're an individual. This is so retarded. This is so dumb.
Is their agenda.
To a girl who wants to end you and end your life.
Wrong. God says my point is just because I apologize for someone's feelings doesn't mean they're valid. He's not apologizing for feelings. He's apologizing for fucking touching her boob. Her feelings are her own. He's not apologizing for hurting her feelings, though that's a good apology too.
Yes, Greg Mumbai spitting in chat right now. Why do these people think victims have a special insight beyond some direct knowledge of the situation when they're clearly the most self-interested and biased people? Exactly, yes. They literally... Just proximity to the situation does not necessarily mean your judgment of it is the best. It's that simple. Experience does not mean your judgment is the best. Oftentimes, it can negatively impact your judgment. This is not it's not direct. It does not translate like that.
He's apologizing for touching her without her consent. He's apologizing for misreading the situation and touching her without her consent because he misread the situation. And she needs to apologize for not communicating clearer because they could have avoided this whole thing. Her feelings are valid. They're happening. Her actions are unreasonable. That's why she never should have posted the video. Her feelings are valid. They're happening. His guilt is valid. He touched her without asking. Okay? He's apologizing for putting her in a situation where he misread the situation. She needs to apologize for putting him in a situation where she misread the situation. That's why she's probably taking down the stuff she did.
And Lyrics, obviously, Lyrics' issue is it doesn't think any reasonable person would see something wrong with touching someone after an hour of cuddling.
She's realizing that. Okay? So don't apologize unless you mean it, because you know how you impacted someone. So if you apologize to people, you better mean it, because that means you understand why they're there. And then that person who accepts the apology, don't accept it unless you really understand why they're apologizing.
Like, what the fuck was this tweet, man? This is the problem, and honestly, the reason why a person like Katie even made her allegation in the first place is because you guys promote this culture, enabling this behavior, allowing a person like Katie to come to the surface and accuse you later down the line. So until any of you guys figure out how to grow a backbone and spine and defend yourself from clear bullshit...
This guy can't even...
Yeah, exactly. This is just delusional. That's not how it works at this scale. It's corporate PR. Exactly. 100%. She's tripping. She's tripping if she thinks Dream and George Not Found and all this shit are thinking about anything other than self-preservation.
Buy a beer. He's so young, bro. He can't even rent his own car. What is Justin Bieber even talking about?
Accusations. This will continue forever and will never stop.
Oh my gosh. You know what would cease and desist all of this? Men. Get men off the planet. Get humans. All humans. Just kidding.
I mean, based?
Just the straight ones. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Just
no, but seriously, like, this kid is so funny. He's probably fucking autistic too. Nah, he looks more ADHD, honestly. I don't even know what that means. He looks something though. I don't know about autism. He doesn't look autistic. And for all those people that are like, Brittany, people can't look a certain way. Are you sure about that?
Archetypes. Let's go.
You sure about that? Because I for sure feel like I
You're
look
black. You're black. You're a
Choice is yours.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Dad. Damn, that video was sucky, bro. It's not even over. Oh, my God. I can't watch this anymore. It's so bad. This is such a bad video. Great editing. Great editing. Such a bad take. Great editing, though. Such a bad take.
And that's where this story ended, but out of complete left field, weeks after her first initial allegation stream, Katie then went live to make yet another
what would you say a criminal looks like?
response, where she changes her story again.
I can't. Oh, bro. This is an incredibly painful video to get through. I can't do it. Can I quit? Oh, can I quit? Oh, this is so painful.
Tell me about it, Brittany. We've been here for
that
4.5
George
hours.
Groped and fondled her tits.
The one biggest thing that I want to clear up, it is fucking sexual assault, okay? I'm not gonna apologize, say that it isn't sexual assault, that I'm not a sexual assault victim. The touching that he has admitted to many times, he felt up my tits. He stuck his hand up my shirt, under my bra, and felt up, fondled, whatever you want to say. He felt up my tits.
Mind you, up until this point, it's been understood that the main allegation is that he touched and tickled her.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, look, we're rehashing this. I already have so many videos on this. There's no reason for us to rehash it. I will say this. Editing's fire. Content sucks, but that's only because like, you don't know anything yet and you're a kid and you're a baby, and I get it. So yeah, shout out to this kid, Lerix, Lerix. Here, I'll link it if you guys want to check out the video yourself.
Well,
he's
that's
just
good.
a baby boy. He's just a sweet little Justin Bieber baby boy. He doesn't know anything
To be
about
fair,
grown-up
we should
life,
do that
you know
too,
what I mean?
guys.
He just thinks he does,
I
so
should
he's
do that
lecturing
too.
the
Yeah.
internet. Which
There you
makes
go,
sense.
guys.
Like,
Go
we're all
check out Brittany
young and we
Simon.
lecture the internet.
You know, I'll say camera great. Okay, your camera setup, your mic great, audio great, content sucks, but you're a woman.
Yeah. Oof. I did not like. I just think it's not very well
You're
thought
an
out.
old lady. You're an old lady. Content sucks. You're an old lady. You don't know anything. You're out of touch. But that's okay. You look like you've got autism.
You know, it makes sense for his bubble and where he's coming from and his age group and his relationship with these things. I think that all kind of makes sense that he's coming from that perspective.
You're in your 30s.
Kay says I checked out a while.
There's nothing wrong with anything I just said, by the way. I don't want to hear any complaining about me being mean there, because fuck it, she literally said all that same shit about lyrics, okay?
We'll go, this video isn't stimulating. Yeah. I mean, we've already rehashed it. Look, I'm glad I tried another person's video, but genuinely, I just think there was a lot of misinformation in this video. A lot of the facts were wrong. He's not listening to Katie, George, or Dream. He's not listening to their positions. He's mocking all the victims involved. He's calling George a victim and then mocking him for being a pussy. I don't even know what to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, we really don't want to listen to victims, do we? Whether they're men or women, huh?
Yeah, that's what it was about. That's the takeaway. Yeah, that's the takeaway. Lyrics are just so dead set on not listening to victims. You just don't listen to either side. That makes lyrics sound incredibly based, I gotta say.